The first Ebola patient in Mali travelled hundreds of miles across the country by public transport, showing symptoms of the disease. The girl who'd come from Guinea with her grandmother has since died. More than 40 people known to have come into contact with her have been quarantined. Dr. Magda Rebolo from the World Health Organization said all countries needed to redouble their efforts to prevent the disease spreading.
Countries have different levels, different capacities. Others have strong and robust surveillance systems. Others don't have laboratory capacity to confirm cases. Others don't have treatment centers. So it is extremely difficult. They can do more. That's my answer to it. They can do more, they should do more, and they should be assisted to do more.
A major junction on the M42 is partly closed this weekend. Work is being done at Junction 6, the exit for the NEC and the airport, and it'll be closed until 6 on Monday morning. Frank Bird from the Highways Agency told BBC WM what they're trying to achieve.
When we reopen on Monday morning at 6 o'clock, there will be some additional lanes on the island. For those that use the motorway island at the moment, there is already one lane outside the National Motorcycle Museum. This next closure that we're undertaking this weekend will give you another lane over the A45.
For the first time, a poppy field is being created at the National Memorial Arboretum near Lichfield. 100 years since the start of the Great War, people will now be able to plant a poppy in remembrance of those killed in conflicts. The field will be dedicated today at a special ceremony. Canon Tony Wood is from the Royal British Legion.
We discovered that the first poppies were sold for 3 old pence, in our terms quite a lot of money. And so we're having a child with 3 old pence. We got some 3 old pence. And she's going to come forward and buy the first, or purchase the first poppy, as it were, symbolically.
Birmingham City's first game post Lee Clark is at home to Bournemouth this afternoon, going up against rising managerial star Eddie Howe. He's in his second spell with Bournemouth after failing to settle at Burnley, and the Blues caretaker boss Malcolm Crosby notes that Howe seems at his happiest now he's back on the south coast.
No, I mean, he went away and he did quite well at Burnley, but you know, sometimes you go back to a club and it doesn't always work, but Eddie's walked back in there and he's achieved fantastic results.
The weather bright and breezy today, cloudy but dry with a top temperature of 15 Celsius, 59 Fahrenheit. Some light rain tonight with lows of 8 Celsius, 46 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow another breezy and largely dry day. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The Voice. The Voice.
The Voice.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
Here's something. Oh, sorry.
WM 95.6.
Is it utmost or upmost? It must be upmost. Utmost isn't a word. It's not a word, is it? I think I've been saying it wrong for the last 41 and a half years. Yeah, I was speaking when I was born, producer Joe. Yeah, what's your beef with that? Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. Thank you, Molly. And your giant pumpkin. Lots to talk about on the show this morning. We'll go through the papers a bit later on. Bus lanes. Should we scrap them? Mouldy food. What's wrong with it? Any sympathy for people who go and have plastic surgery out of vanity and then it goes wrong? 03453 009956. You can also call in about any old balls. But before that, Norman Tebbit.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453 009956.
BBC WM 95.6.
Right, so I've got stuff to talk about. You're more than welcome to come and talk about that stuff with me, or if you just want to come on and talk a load of old guff, you're welcome to. You are welcome to. Hey, is it what's the date? Is it Halloween this weekend? It's the 25th. Yeah, trick-or-treating. I'll have some of that. I like a bit of trick-or-treat. Have you got some goodies in a bag ready for kids when they come knocking on the door? I like trick-or-treating. I like trick-or-treating when it's like 6-year-olds and the 6-year-old and their 9-year-old sister, and they're dressed up, and mum stood at the end of the pathway, and they do it properly. I don't like it when it's 14-year-olds who are just wearing like jeans and a hoodie. Trick or treat. What? They can't do it. Where's your costume? I haven't got one. Well, then you're not going to get... You're 14 years old. Go and get a job. Can you work at 14? Paper round, innit? Paper round. So I like it when the kids do it. I don't like it when the teenagers do it. And they've not made any effort. You get a little kid with a sheet over his head being a ghost, like E.T. in the film E.T. I'll have some of that. But when you've got 14... Get out of here. Give you a wallop. 03453 009956. We'll talk about that. Speaking of jobs, the unemployed, should they work for their benefits? There's a segue. I only just recently discovered that Segway is spelt S-E-G-U-E, not S-E-G-U-E-W-A-Y. I thought that was Seg-way. How on earth does the U-E make way? How does that work? Anyway. Should the unemployed work for their benefits? The former Conservative Cabinet Minister, Lord Norman Tebbit, has said young unemployed people should be made to pull up ragwort. No, that's not something from Harry Potter. That's an actual weed from roadside verges in return, well, for their benefits, their job seekers' allowance, their housing benefit. The 83-year-old made the proposal in a letter to the charity called Bug Life, not to be confused with the movie It's a Bug's Life, which is concerned about the effect of declining ragwort on bees and rare insects. Well, I spoke to Norman Tebbit yesterday and asked him if he was being unfair.
Well, hold on a moment. I take it that if you didn't come into the studio to do your job, your employer wouldn't pay you, would he?
Correct.
That's not unfair, is it?
Well, no, but I'm not on benefits. I have been on benefits in the past.
Yes, indeed. And since it's the taxpayer who is paying your benefit, don't you think the taxpayer might be entitled to expect something in return?
It's been compared to a Victorian workhouse.
Well, it isn't a Victorian workhouse, is it? It's a silly comparison.
Well, that comparison was made by Chris Bryant, as I'm sure you know, the Shadow Welfare Reform Minister.
Oh, well, no wonder it was a silly comparison then.
He said the comments reflected the values of the Victorian workhouse in which out-of-work people were forced to perform demeaning, unpaid labour.
No, look, do I have to explain it again?
Yes, please.
If you don't do your job, your employer doesn't pay you. That's not demeaning, it's not forced labour. It's not the Victorian workhouse. It's a bargain between those that pay and those that do something in return for the pay. It is not a bizarre or new idea, you know. Frank Field, the Labour MP, and Ralph Howell, the Conservative MP for one of the Norfolk seats, many years ago wrote a book called Workfare, in which they suggested that it was only fair that those who were receiving money from the taxpayer should do something in return.
But aren't they doing something in return? Aren't they looking for work?
Well, that's fine if they're looking for work, but what if they're not finding any work?
Well, that's not their fault if they're looking and not finding any work, is it?
If they're fully occupied in looking for work, then they could be given some time off, couldn't they? But
to pick
we
weeds.
have a problem, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not just in places where there are high levels of unemployment. There are places where there is not a high level of unemployment, where there are plenty of jobs within range, and people choose not to take them.
But a lot of those jobs are minimum wage or zero-hour contracts.
What sort of wage do you think I started on when I left school when I was 16?
Did you work zero-hour contracts where you weren't guaranteed how much money you'd be taking home each month?
No, I didn't indeed, because that wasn't the way we did things in those days. But I can tell you that even in 1947, 42 shillings and sixpence a week wasn't exactly overpaid.
But you can understand why somebody, the head of a family or anybody who's working, would need to know how much money they were going to take home each week. And they're not guaranteed any money with a zero-hour contract, are they?
Do you or Mr. Bryant understand why unemployment is falling here whilst it is rising in many other countries on the European continent?
No, I don't.
Well, it's perfectly straightforward. And they would tell you the answer to that if you were to go to your local supermarket. That if you put up the price, you sell less goods. If you keep the price down, you sell more goods.
I'm being stupid. And your point in regards to employment?
Well, labour is another commodity, just like sugar or potatoes in that sense, in an economic sense, that if the price of labour goes up excessively, less people are employed. It's why we have been more successful in bringing down unemployment
because you pay people
than other
less.
countries.
Because we pay people less.
Because people are willing to work for less.
Well, I don't know if is it a case of willing to work for less or that they have no option but to work for less?
Well, you have the other option, which is of not working and not being paid.
You said in an interview with The Guardian, given a bit of organisation, the unemployed young people would be happy doing something constructive. That's something constructive for them. Picking weeds, it's a little bit patronising, isn't it, Lord Tebbit?
I've picked weeds myself, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, I've picked weeds, but to do it...
Is it?
To do it, to claim my benefits, to claim the money so I could feed my family...
Well, what's so different? Why is it undignified
because it's less
to
than
do something which people do, farm workers do?
It's less than minimum wage.
And remember, lots of people come from Central Europe looking for work.
It's less than minimum wage, though, isn't it? That would be the issue.
Well, all right, it is, but that's what benefit is about, because the taxpayer can't afford to pay any more than that. Unless you want to put up income tax, of course, or something like that, and that will send up unemployment again.
And final point, Lord Tebbit, you've also upset lots of environmentalists who say this weed that you're talking about is actually quite a good weed and we shouldn't be getting rid of it.
Well, it nourishes quite a lot of insects. Of course it does. But on the other hand, if there was a growing crop there, that would nourish insects as well. And the problem with this particular weed is that it's dangerous to some livestock, and that farmers can't keep their fields clear of it if on publicly owned land, such as motorway verges and things like that, the place is full of the weed. Now, I'm not suggesting that we should uproot every tiny little bit of it or anything like that. Apart from anything else, it would be an impossible task. But keeping a reasonable control on it does not actually threaten bug life.
And we're back in the room. So, that was Norman Tebbit speaking yesterday, who thinks quite strongly that unemployed people, to claim their benefits, they should have to go around picking weeds. Now, I suspect Norman Tebbit has never signed on. He's never had to claim housing benefit. I would imagine. I'm prepared to be proven wrong. I would suspect that's the case. I have signed on, and I have claimed housing benefit, and I would not particularly have enjoyed having to go around picking weeds. It's a benefit. It's not a salary. Whereas if you end up doing work for it, it becomes a wage. In which case, that's beneath the minimum wage. In which case, that's slave labour, isn't it? Have I got that completely screwy? 03453 009956. Do you agree with Lord Tebbit? Lord Tebbit, isn't it interesting? A lord speaking about the unemployed. I don't know. I see a kind of discrepancy there. Do you agree with Lord Tebbit that the unemployed should have to do some kind of work, some kind of manual labour to get their benefits? 03453 009956. You can also text 81333. Start your text WM, or you can send me an email, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Matt Freeman.
Thank you, Ian. We'll start in Erdington. Chester Road, the A452 is closed. There's been an accident around the Court Lane turn, so the road completely closed around there for the time being near to the traffic light, starting to cause some lengthy queues both ways. On the motorways, the northbound M6, we're getting reports of a problem between Junction 2 for the M69 and Junction 3 for the A444. If you know any more, do let us know about that. Further up the northbound M6, the entry slip road at Junction 12 for Gailey is still closed. Roadworks were due to complete there at 8 o'clock this morning. They're overrun a little bit, so you can't get onto the northbound M6 at Junction 12 for the time being. Roadworks as well around Junction 6 of the M42, causing a few problems with closures on the roundabout itself, although the routes from the northbound M42 to the westbound A45 and from the southbound M42 onto the eastbound A45 are still open. And if you're a Wolves fan making your way through towards Leeds for this afternoon's game, traffic generally coping okay on the M6, little slow on the M62 through the roadworks just outside Manchester. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel available on 08453 002288.
Ian Lee.
On BBC WM.
95.6. The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
Lesby Avenue. Isn't it a nice day out there? It's cold. No, it's not cold. It's crisp. It's crisp. It's sunny. It's bright. It's crisp. Beautiful. What a perfect October morning. 03453 009956. Lord Tebbit speaking to me yesterday. It's funny, I don't get nervous about interviewing people. I've interviewed big people, small, all kinds of people. I got really nervous about interviewing Lord Tebbit yesterday, partly because he seems the type of guy that doesn't give a stuff. He's been blown up by the IRA. Do you know what I mean? He's stared death in the face. It's going to be one of those mornings. He stared death in the face. And I got really nervous about interviewing him. What do you think to what he was saying? That the unemployed people, they should work. They should be pulling up weeds to claim their benefit. Charles is on the M5. Morning, Charles.
Morning.
Do you agree with Lord Tebbit?
Oh, I definitely do.
Tell me why.
All right, I'm not necessarily saying that the unemployed should work a 40-hour week.
Right.
Even if it was just 1 day a week. I mean, I've been on benefits in the past.
Yeah.
And it worked out. By the time I got my unemployment benefit, my housing benefit, my council tax benefit, technically I was taken off the state around £350, £400 a week, which is, for some people, a lot more than what they get doing a full-time job.
How are you getting £400 a week? Break it down for me. Break it down.
Well, the housing benefit was something like £650 a month.
Right.
And then the unemployment was something like £60 a week, and council tax was
okay,
I think about 150.
But cash in hand, you were getting £60 a week.
Actual physical cash in hand, yeah.
Okay.
But obviously, with the other benefits as well, because I was unemployed, they were still benefits that I was getting, although it wasn't technically cash in my hand.
But employed people would still get benefits. They still get council tax rebates. They still get housing benefit. They still get tax rebates. So why should you have to work to claim your benefits? Working less than minimum wage.
Right, but if someone was unemployed and say they had to do it just 1 day a week, you're talking 8 hours. Now, you add up all the benefits that they get each week for housing, council and everything else, that's not below minimum wage. I think the problem is we've become too much of a nanny state, and it's too much of everybody thinking for something for nothing.
But it's not. But benefits. Well, Charles, stay there. Nick's in Corby. Morning, Nick.
Oh, hello, Ian. Well,
do you agree with Charles that the unemployed should work for their benefits?
Well, the point I was originally going to make was, well, first of all, thank you for a very good interview with Lord Tebbit. I only wish you'd been around at the time of the Thatcher era, when people like him and the rest of the Tory cabinet were wrecking this country.
It would have been inappropriate. It would have been inappropriate for a 13-year-old me to interview members of the cabinet. But I appreciate what you're saying, Nick. Thank you.
I'm sure you would have done a better job than some of them at the time. But anyway, yes, no, they shouldn't work for their benefits. Well, you see, if it's a benefit, then it's a wage. If they're working, then it becomes a wage. We live in a wage profit society, and if there's any work around and people do it, then they should be paid for it as a wage. Now, it's the oldest Tory trick or free market trick in the book, saying that people should work for benefits. Really, what they're saying is there is work, but we can't pay you. So all the more reason for there should be, that they could actually fund proper work.
Charles, Nick's saying that there's proper work around and they should be paying people for it.
That guy's totally lost the plot. There is work around, but if they can't be bothered getting off their backsides, looking for work and securing a job, then why should, everybody else pay for them to sit on their bum, do nothing, and just sponge off the state continuously?
Oh, right. Well, I'll try and get back on the plot then. So who's they then? Are you kind of generalising? Who are all these they? You know, everybody's just sitting on their backsides, are they?
Yeah, I know. Well, in the past, I've known plenty of people, and, I've had conversations with them. It's sort of like, why should I go out to work for 40 hours a week and earn the same money that I'm getting from benefits?
Well, everybody is, are they? Well, a lot of people want to work, a lot of people volunteer.
But, I don't know how many actual jobs there are out there compared to how many people are unemployed. But, I mean, if somebody seriously wanted work, that are on benefits, they can take work. But at the end of the day, there are a certain percentage of society that would rather stay on benefits and not do a day's work in their life. Now, why should they never work in their life, receive benefits for all their life, and not contribute in any way to society?
What makes you think
I'm not saying that they should work full time.
I got Charles. Let Nick come in. Go on, Nick. What were you going to say?
Sorry, what makes you think they want to sit back and just skive off simply because they think it's more profitable to be more busy? There are thousands of people round here who are unemployed but will go out to charity shops and work on voluntary things. You can't just generalise and say that everybody wants to sit back and not work.
Right. Well, if you listen, I said there are a percentage of them.
And what is that? What is that percentage, Charles?
I have no idea. I haven't got access to government figures.
Well, but I don't think there are any government figures that would indicate how many people, what percentage of those signing on are doing it because they're lazy. I make up that most people do want to work, don't they? Do you not agree?
I would imagine so, yes. But I'm sure there's government figures or some way of knowing that out of, say, however many thousands are signing on, there's a percentage that have been signing on for benefits for the last 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years.
All right, Charles, Nick, I'm going to let you go because the line's not great. Charles, thank you very much. Nick King-Corby, thank you. A difference of opinion at 22 minutes past 9 on a Saturday. Good morning. So what do you reckon? Norman Tebbit says, and Charles says, yeah, of course you should go and work if you're signing on. You should go and do something for your money. Well, Nick says, well, hang on a second, then that means that there are jobs and they should be paid properly for those jobs. 03453 009956. And I don't know, we hear these stories, don't we, about families that have got 15 kids and that they're having kids to get money and there are people that are on their backsides and they don't want to work because they get more money. I have to believe that is a real tiny minority of people. You know, certain newspapers would have you think that there are thousands of people out there not working because they don't want to work and because they're enjoying getting the benefits. I think that's I have to think that's an exaggeration. When I was signing on, I wanted to work. I remember signing on, right? And I got a job. It was a job for a day, okay? And I went into the job centre. So I've got a job for a day. How do I sign off? What do I declare it? And the woman said, oh, it's for a day. It's really complicated. If I were you, I'd just take the money and keep quiet. I know. And I was going in there doing the honest, upright citizen thing. Yeah, if it's just a day, it's really complicated. We'd have to sign you off and then sign you. I tell you what, why don't you just take the money and keep quiet? Wow. 03453 009956. Should unemployed people have to, well, pull weeds? Is it the fact it's pulling weeds, he suggested? Does that make a difference? Because that sounds to me a little demeaning. Is that the right word? I don't know. Andy's in Halesowen. Morning, Andy.
Morning, Ian.
What have you got for us, boss?
Well, that man on the motorway, he's talking around the bend, really, isn't he?
Go on, tell us why.
Well, Tebbit, I mean, this is another Tory value, isn't it? This is another Tory trick to give Ian Duncan-Smith thoughts in his mind to hit the working class again. Look, say, I'm a professional lorry driver, right? Now, I'm being made redundant. You're made to spend that redundancy before you can sign on. Right, you sign on. Now, I go for a job, and I'm offered a labourer's job sweeping up. If I turn that job down, your benefits stopped anyway. So I just can't understand where this Tebbit's coming from. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I mean, look, it's a pity you never thought about the disabled benefit and hit him where it hurts when Tories got in and cut the disabled where you got to walk 60 metres and they cut it down to 20 metres. He don't talk about that, does he? I'm sorry, Ian. The Tories are just absolutely, they're looking for everything, making it the working class.
But hang on a second.
to ask them to go.
Andy,
yeah,
Andy,
all
Andy.
right, there's a couple of that. But look, is that cutting the time down where they have to look for jobs?
Well, Andy, listen, if you're... I would imagine... I haven't signed on for, man alive, 17 years. And I'll be honest, I wasn't looking for a job 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. Quite a bit of the time I was looking for work and I was going for meetings and I was being creative and doing stuff. Quite a bit of that time I was playing PlayStation.
Right.
So could that time have been better used?
Well, obviously, if they'd found out that, they would have stopped your benefit, wouldn't they? Look,
I don't think they stopped your benefit for playing PlayStation.
I've always been on the tankers. I've come up the easy way.
You're a what?
Right. When I had a medical, when they retired me on medical grounds,
yeah.
I was just looking for the job just to pass the time away.
Yeah.
Right. I had a good payout. Now there was I won't name companies or but I come across a driving job where it was pretty decent. The money wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
So I accepted it. This was the Friday. I went back to the job centre and told them this. Right, now, every Monday, I'd got to go up to, in Wolverhampton, and be there on site at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now, when I went to the job centre, they told me that it was working for yourself. You understand me? Now, this man of the transport company never told me that, so I didn't go on the Monday. I went to the job centre the Monday and they stopped me benefit. And I said, why have you stopped me benefit? And they said, because you should have, this man, whatever, I can't think of his name anyway, he rang the job centre up and complained I hadn't been there on site.
All right, Andy, listen, thank you very much. I think we're going off on a slight tangent that I'm struggling to follow, but thank you. 03453 009956. Brian's on the line. Good morning, Brian.
Morning, Ian.
Are you unemployed?
I am unemployed. I'm unemployed because, unfortunately, 4 years ago I had a stroke.
Oh.
And I'm not a dole-dosser, I'm not a scrounger. I only want what I'm entitled to. I have to apply for a minimum of 15 jobs a week.
Blimey.
Which I have to do. If I don't apply for these jobs, you know, they talk to you about...
Could you, Brian, you had a stroke. Are you physically well now?
Yes.
So you could pick weeds?
I'm physically and mentally fit.
So you could pick weeds then? Why would you object to picking weeds to get your benefit?
Well, to be honest, there are so many people that are unemployed. When you see them, when you go down the job centre, you see them just hanging around doing.
Well, then you and they should be going and picking weeds. There's loads of weeds. You drive through Birmingham, you drive on the motorway. Oh, the sides of the roads are a right old mess. If people like you spent a day a week picking weeds, it'll be wonderful.
You know, I appreciate that, but you know, as I said before, you know, I'm not unemployed because I wanted to be unemployed.
No, but you're getting benefit. I'm imagining you're getting council tax rebates and you're getting housing benefit. Well, why don't you go and pick some weeds for one day a week?
Yes, but as I say, unfortunately, you know, I started work when I was 16. I worked all my life. Had a stroke when I was 49. I'm now 53, and I get fed up with all these people, you know, going on about people on job seekers and Tebbit as well. He was a nightmare back in the 80s. He always has been. He always will be a nightmare. You know,
Brian, and
your story out of his backside as well.
Brian, your story is very tragic, but you've not given me one reason why one day a week you shouldn't go out and pick weeds. You start at 9 o'clock, you finish at 4:30. I'll let you have an hour for lunch, and you go and pick weeds, and then you get your benefits. And if you don't do that, then I'm afraid we can't pay you anything. Why shouldn't that be the case?
Well, you know, to be honest, picking weeds, I don't think should. You know, you should have to do that. You know, what the job centre wants me to do.
Someone has to do it.
You know, the job centre want me to work in like charity shops and that, but unfortunately you apply to the charity shops for work and they don't want to know.
Right.
You know, I apply for all these jobs during the week and that, and I don't get no replies back from anybody, no employers.
No, and Brian, I understand that's a terrible situation, and I'm so glad that
it drives me right up the wall.
Oh, I bet it does, and I'm so glad that I've fallen on my feet. And you know what? I'm doing all right, and hopefully I won't be in that position again. Who knows, though? Who knows what's around the corner?
No,
but
my last job I was on, you know, I was on $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now I'm on £72 a week.
But Brian, you've not given me one good reason why you shouldn't go and pick weeds every Monday. And that's the thing. You can't, can you?
Well, I don't. I think it is a bit degrading to go and pick weeds and that.
Why? What's degrading about gardening?
Well, there's nothing degrading about gardening. You know, I used to have my own garden. I used to enjoy gardening, but you know, I don't think I should have to go and pick weeds to get my £72.
Brian, listen, thank you very much. 03453 009956. I'm not saying what I think is right or wrong. But what's interesting there with Brian, he's on benefits, and he couldn't give me one good reason why he shouldn't go and do the weeding. And that's maybe the thing, isn't it? We get outraged by what Norman Tebbit has said, that unemployed people should go and pick weeds on roadside verges. But I need you to help me with this. I need you to come up with good arguments as to why people shouldn't do that. And to just go, I don't think it's right, well, that's not a good argument. There might be good arguments, and I think I know the answers, but I'm not going to tell you. You need to come up with it yourself today. You're going to do some work today. Dave's in Atherstone. Morning, Dave.
Morning.
What you got for us?
For the people, remember?
Yep.
They ought to remember Tebbit and Thatcher when they decimated the coalfields and the engineering. They sent thousands and thousands of people on the dole, and to keep the unemployment figures down so it looked respectable, they were advised to go on what they called incapacity benefit, sickness, and that was instigated by Thatcher so she could make the unemployment register look better than what it actually was. And Tebbit was the conning hypocrite that used to tell people, on your bikes, on your bikes. Yeah?
Yeah. Where's this going?
I'm just trying to explain to you the mentality of these lowlifes who are doing all the fiddling with the taxes.
By the way, I've got to flag up. You know that the on your bike thing is a misquote.
Yeah, well, it's convenient. It's convenient after the event.
Well, no,
yeah.
it's not what he said.
Well, I know you're going to give me the other part.
Well, yeah, well, no, exactly. It's not. He didn't say get on your bike.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he didn't.
So all the thousands of people that heard him say get on your bike, he didn't say it.
No, he didn't say it.
Oh.
He didn't say it. So this is one of those things that's misquoted. He didn't say it.
Ah.
Ah.
So what did he say then?
He said, my father...
Ah, now we're coming out with the old claptrap.
My father got on his bike to look for a job.
Ah, but he did. He wasn't saying that when he was espousing all the get on your bike.
No, but he didn't say get on your bike. He said, my father got on his bike to look for a job.
Not when he was saying it, he didn't. Not when he was saying it, he didn't, Ian.
Not when he was saying what?
When he was telling people, quote, get on your bike.
He didn't say get on your bike.
There was never any mention of him referring to anything to do with his father.
He didn't say get on your bike.
Well.
But because you can't say that and you can't make up quotes.
I'm not making them. I'm remembering what he used to say when we used to watch him and listen to him on the telly.
Yeah, he didn't say that.
Oh, well, yeah, you've obviously got your own opinion, but...
Well, no, it's not an opinion, it is fact.
Right, well, do me a favour then.
Yes, my love.
When your next callers come on,
yeah,
please say to them, how did they interpret what he
said? No. Interpretation is a different thing. I don't know I can't control how people interpreted what was said, but I can control you because you've misquoted. You've misquoted him.
So anybody else that comes on the line that talks in a similar way, they're misquoting as well, are they?
Yeah. Well, if that's what they're saying, yeah. I grew up. This is the quote. Okay. I grew up in the 30s with an unemployed father. He didn't riot. He got on his bike and looked for work. He kept looking till he found it. There's your quote, Dave.
So why didn't he explain that at the time?
Oh, Dave, for goodness sakes. He doesn't need to explain it. It's the quote. So people misquote him as Norman Tebbit having directly told the unemployed to get on your bike. It's not what he said. It's not what he said. I've got the quote in front of me. I grew up in the 30s with an unemployed father. He didn't riot, he got on his bike and looked for work, and he kept looking till he found it. We're going off on a slight tangent, dear listener. And we can explore that tangent if you'd like. 03453 009956. But should unemployed people have to pick up weeds for their benefits? Roy's in Wombourne. Morning, Roy.
Good morning, Ian. How are you?
Yeah,
Right?
I'm good, thank you. Listen, politics to one side. It does annoy me when people misquote other people and use that to their advantage.
Well, I haven't heard the quote, Ian, so I can't sort of relate to that.
Good lad, Roy.
at
What
all.
you got for us?
But the thing is, Ian, with the unemployed people, and they go to the job centres, and the job centres give them these jobs, or they say that they can find them these jobs.
Yeah.
What it is, if it is on a voluntary basis, the job centre are, I would think, legally bound to ensure, with the health and safety, whatever job that they do.
Right.
They won't just let them go out and pick weeds. They have to be insured to pick weeds, because this came up some time back in relation to clearing the canals, which was the canal verges.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let them do it because they would not insure them. They have to be insured to pick a spade or a shovel.
They'll get insured. You ever see? You know you often see fellas at the sides of the motorway or at motorway junctions digging up stuff and collecting rubbish. They're prisoners, aren't they? Generally, I think.
Yeah, but they're insured.
Yeah, they're insured, so they get insurance. Of course, they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we make unemployed people go and do the weeding to get their benefits?
If they insure them properly, yes.
Beautiful. Thank you very much indeed. Dave will come to you in a second. Donald's in Solihull. Good morning, Donald. Hello?
Hello?
I can hear a very loud ticking clock.
Yeah, I can hear the clock. It's on the clock inside, yeah.
Yeah, that's your clock, is it?
All right, yes.
It's a very loud ticker, isn't it?
It is.
It's a very loud ticker.
Now, I'm going to say something now, mate. When you're on about people unemployed, picking rubbish on the side of the road and weeds, you're wrong. So I'll tell you the reason why. I worked on islands, I've bedded islands, I've cleaned islands, and I'll tell you what, it's bloody frightening. It's dangerous. Now, another thing, you've got to have proper clothing, proper equipment, you've got to be insured, and who's going to cover all this lot? Because it's dangerous. Believe me, I've done it.
What, picking weeds is dangerous?
Yes, it is dangerous. On the side of the roads, picking rubbish, weeds up, on the side of the roads, it's very, very dangerous.
Nah.
Oh, come on, mate. I've done it. And I'll tell you what, and I've been nearly killed by doing it. I used to do it. I used to work for contract services, Solihull. That was our contract.
Picking weeds is dangerous?
Working on the side of the roads, working rubbish, picking rubbish, cleaning the side of the roads, it's dangerous.
Nah.
Isn't it? You flipping will try it, mate, and you'll have a shock of your life. I've been nearly killed on the side of the road.
When you say nearly killed...
Yes, I have.
What does that mean? Because I nearly killed myself once going into my house because I bashed my head.
Now, wait a minute. I've been working on the side of the road. I've had my vehicle there, and I've had my equipment, and I've had tyres squeal on the road, and they come straight at you. I've even put bollards in the road. They run over my bollards. Run over the top of them.
Ouch.
So I didn't see them. And they're 2 foot high off the flipping floor. And they're still run over them.
You don't want anyone to run over your bollards, do you?
Yes, I flipping well have. You can ask any of the lads if you... Well, when they're not there now, they've been privatised. But I used to work contract services, Solihull Council. I was on piecework.
OK. So when you say you were nearly killed...
Yes.
Someone ran over your bollards?
You have to run over the bollards and you have to run out the flipping road quick.
Right. Well, what were you doing in the road?
I was working. On the side of the roads.
Well, no, hang on, but these people won't be on the road. They'll be on the grass verges, just weeding.
Well, that's what I mean, on the grass verges. I've had cars run up the grass verges.
Oh, well, you know, you could have a car come up to you when you're waiting for a bus. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I'm not denying that. But when you're working, you're suddenly early flipping cars screaming and brakes on the road. What are you going to do? You're going to run. I'm sorry, mate, but you're wrong. I've done it.
How are your bollards now?
Well, I don't do it because I'm retired now anyway.
Good lad, thank you, Donald. 03453 009956. You do not want anybody running over your bollards. That really is going to smart, isn't it? Isn't it, Daz? Yeah, I think so. 0345... Daz is getting ready for a show. 03453 009956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Well, that gentleman there has experienced the dangerous world of clearing at the side of the road. I mean... Yeah, but people work... But what about street sweepers? What about walking down the street? What about lollipop ladies? You know, these are all jobs that could be dangerous. Dave's in Albury. Good morning, Dave.
Morning, Ian.
Ever had your bollards run over?
No, but I would imagine it's a bit naughty.
Yeah, it's kind of smart, isn't it?
Just a bit.
What you got for us, David?
I'm on benefits, not because I want to be, because of my health. And I go out and do charity work.
Yeah.
I put a dog suit on and go out and do charity work.
Hang on, sorry, you put what on?
A dog suit. Don't laugh. It's an animal charity. And I go out and I put that on and do charity work for them.
This carries on from our talk on yesterday's show about mascots. So it's the full, you're like a giant dog with a big head, yeah?
Yeah, that's the one.
And what do you do? What do you do? Do you just kind of like wave at people and shake a bucket?
You go out on a tin shake. We go out and do.
Do you make children cry?
No.
No. Do they come up and like pull your tail and kick you in the knee?
I've had to wreck. They spin you around. The kids come out of school, spin you around, and now we want a picture of you for Facebook. Spin you around, and they rip all the back of the suit. They rip the tail off or pull the zip and wreck the suit.
They spin you round and pull the tail off?
Well, there's 2 or 3 of them, yeah.
Oh, Dave, that sounds so sad. Are you allowed to...
He's really got to buy a new suit, isn't he?
Do you under your breath, do you tell them, oh, go on, sod off? Do you swear at them and stuff?
Well, you can't, can you? Because you've got the name of the charity on you. And if you do that, they'll report the charity. And then they'll stop you doing it.
Right, OK, yeah. Well, I'm confused. I'm so confused. What's this got to do with Norman Tebbit?
Because he's saying people are on the dole and on benefits, and I'm there because they want to be, and they won't get off the backside and do anything.
Yeah. So you're agreeing with him then that they should go and do a little bit of work?
Well, I do. I go out and do a little bit because it gives me peace of mind.
Dave, thank you very much indeed. Well, on yesterday's show, 2 till 4 on Fridays, we did talk about mascots, and we can kind of carry that on a bit. Dave has very kindly reintroduced that theme. We will go off on lots of tangents, don't we? We won't be talking about this all morning. Any stories you have about dressing up in large suits, please, 03453 009956. I'm laughing, and Dave's getting beaten up by kids, is what is happening. He's getting beaten up by kids, but because he's dressed as a dog, it's funny. He's getting spun around and they're pulling his tail off. Your stories of dressing up or seeing people dressed up in large suits, we'll definitely take those. 03453 009956. We've got other stuff coming up as well. We'll have a look through the papers. There's some cracking stuff in the papers. We're also going to be asking, would the world be a better place without bus lanes? And, there's a very sad story about a woman who went and had plastic surgery in Thailand and she died. I think she went out of vanity. We'll go through the details a bit later. Have you got any sympathy for people who have plastic surgery and it goes wrong? Any sympathy at all? 03453 009956 is the phone number. One email as well. And you were right about this, Joe. You spotted this. Chris has emailed in. The uncompassionate Tebbit is a grammatical ignoramus. He just said less people when, of course, it should be fewer people. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Matt.
We'll start in Erdington, Chester Road. The A452 is still closed. There's been an accident around the Court Lane turn, so the road closed both ways at those traffic lights near to the Garden Room Coffee and Gift Shop. Just getting reports in now of a problem in Lichfield as well on Walsall Road, the A461, around the Muckley Corner Island for the A5 and Hall Lane. Motorways, the northbound M6 looking better now between Junction 2 for the M69 and Junction 3 for the A444, where there was some debris on the road earlier on. That's been cleared up. Further up the northbound side, though, the entry slip road at Junction 12 for Gailey is still closed for the roadworks, which should have completed at 8 o'clock this morning. They have overrun, though. And problems around Junction 6 of the M42 with roadworks on the roundabout, causing the entry and exit slip roads to the A45 to be closed. There is still access from the northbound M42 onto the westbound A45, though, and on the southbound M42 towards the eastbound A45. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel on 08453 002288.
Middleton,
Mile
Moseley,
Oldbury,
Pattingham.
Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC
95.6.
I love doing this show and the Friday show. We're getting some wonderful calls. We're talking about Norman Tebbit, who's on the show earlier on, saying that the unemployed people should work for their benefits. He suggested they should go and pick weeds. Well, no one's really come up with the strong argument disagreeing with that. Lots of people said, it's not right. He's wrong. He's uncompassionate. But we need some strong arguments against it, please. 03453 009956. Chris, Pat, stay there. We'll come to you in a second. Marie's on first. Good morning, Marie.
Hello.
How are you this morning?
Well, I'm angry with you.
Why is that, Marie?
Well, I've just woken up and I've tried listening to your programme before. I just can't take to you at all. And I think you're a goon. If you're so contemptful of people doing those jobs like working on hedgerows and things, you try and do it yourself. You need to apologise to that gentleman that was on a little while earlier, joking about his bollards. How dare you be so rude to people? I don't know why they listen to you, and guffawing at that man for doing charity work. You remind me of somebody else that used to be on a Saturday, and he was far worse than you, and I don't think he lasted very long, Iain, or whatever your name is. You're just so rude. Stop taking the mickey out of people. You're so full of yourself. Go and try it yourself. That's all I can say.
You going to put the phone down, Mary?
I will do. I can talk to you if you wish.
Well, would you like to talk to me, Mary, or not?
Marie, it is, not Mary. Not really, because I don't think you're worth talking to. Try and listen to people, and please stop taking the mickey out of them.
Hang on a second. Marie, stay there. Pat?
Yes?
Marie doesn't like me.
I just think you're brilliant.
So try and explain it to Marie, because she's not quite got it yet.
Because she hasn't got a sense of humour.
I'm sorry, I've got the biggest sense of humour ever. I laugh, I make people laugh all the time, but I don't like hearing people belittled on the radio.
No, I think you've got that wrong. I don't think he's belittling them at all.
Oh, what about, come on, he's just doing, and that man was getting so angry, and he was quite right to do so, about working on the island and the traffic going past, and then he kept saying, well, picking weeds. It's just not nice. I just don't like the way you talk to people. Sorry, each to his own. I listen to WM all day long, and I love it. But that, to me, has just riled me. So that's my opinion. I'm sorry. If you like him, that's your prerogative. But I don't. And I'm sorry, Iain, Lee, whatever you call, but you go and try the jobs that you're belittling people for. That's all I can say. Okay.
Right, Iain, I think you might consider yourself told off.
Thank you, Marie.
Okay, bye.
Speak to you next week. Can I just say, thank you, Marie, and everyone. This is one of the joys of this show. Everybody, if you want to come on and say you hate it, wonderful. Come on and say you hate it. I've not belittled people who are picking weeds. I wouldn't want to do it. I hate weeding. I've not belittled people. I was curious about that guy's bollards. Oh, Pat, please, no, come on. I was curious to find out what had happened to that guy. Had his bollards run over, and I wanted to make sure he was okay. Not belittling him. Sounds like a very dangerous job.
Do you know, you just make my morning, because, well, I'm sorry, but obviously people just do not get you. I am seriously trying to do...
Oh, God, cough that up.
My housework, and I can't because you're just making me laugh so much.
Well, we'll put a stop to that, Pat, shall we?
No, lovey, don't you dare. There's too much going on in this world, misery, whatever, and you just make my day. You stay where you are.
Pat, you're very, very sweet. Matt wants to have a pop now. Morning, Matt.
Good morning. You do belittle people, but of course that is part of your act. I know a lot of the times you don't mean it, but you do belittle people talking about his cobblers or something.
No, I didn't mention his cobblers. It was his bollards.
It was his bollards or whatever you're talking about. But you do belittle people, but I know it's part of your act. You really don't mean it at all. I mean, I used to be on the radio regular with John Goff,
yes.
on a Saturday morning.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And I knew how to get things going because I'd be listening to a few people praising somebody, and then he'd have me on and I'd actually run them down what they said. It was all completely wrong.
Yes.
And in the end, I got just as popular as he was.
Well, that's not surprising.
But in the end, the two of us went too far and we got fired off it.
Yes, well.
And what is John going to do now? Because he was one very nice person.
He did not a lot. 03453 009956. Let's bring it back to... I don't... Apologies if anybody feels belittled by what I'm doing. Au contraire. A little bit of innuendo. It's what Britain was based on, wasn't it? A little bit of innuendo. I don't believe there was any belittling. If anyone felt belittled, of course I apologise. It's not the intention. I don't think that was what was being done either. A little bit of schoolboy humour. Guys, and I have to say this as well. There's a great quote from... who's the fella in America? I don't particularly like him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Howard Stern. The people that like me will listen for 20 minutes. The people that hate me will listen for an hour. Works for me. I'm happy with that. Chris is in Malvern. Good morning, Chris.
Hi, Ian.
Chris, do you want to have a pop or do you want to contribute to the conversation?
Well, your jobs with callers in like Marie, your job's starting to sound dangerous.
Yeah, I tell me about it. I know I'm worried for my bollards now.
Right, I'm going to try not to get as stressed as Don and his dangerous bollards.
Yes.
But a little point I want to make before I get on to my main point.
Yes.
Brian mentioned that he was only on £75 a week.
Yeah.
Which is actually probably the money that he gets in his hand to spend. All the people that sort of go on and were only on that much a week forget the housing benefits, the council tax benefit, and all the hidden benefits that get stuff paid, but they don't physically have in their hand to pay it.
Yes, you're right. The £75 a week is the cheque or the money, or I don't know how it's given these days, that you get to go and spend on food and stuff. But you're right. There will be housing benefit. There will be other costs as well. Yes.
Yeah, but my main point of Norman Tebbit going and saying go and pick some weeds and stuff. If I lose my job and I've got a mortgage, I've got to find the money to pay that mortgage, whereas if you're on benefits, they will give you benefits so you can stay in the house. So if I lose my job tomorrow and I can't get another job and somebody says, I'll give you a job, 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, picking weeds, and for that money I can get the mortgage paid, I'm off to pick weeds. Because I have got to,
But I guess the thing is it's not being labelled as a job, is it? And I think this is where people are getting upset, Chris, because it's if there's a job to pick weeds, then pay people minimum wage or a decent wage to pick weeds.
Yeah, but I say if I'm of the opinion that if you're sort of sitting at home for whatever reason, if you're incapacitated or physically can't work, then I've got no problem with that. But I think there are probably more people than probably you think that do sit at home and virtually do nothing and claim the benefits. I say I certainly know a lot of people that do it.
Because I don't, and I didn't when I was signing on. When I was signing on 17 years ago, people wanted to work. The people that I knew, and you go down the job centre. I remember being in the job centre in Harlesden in northwest London. Horrible place. And there were blokes doing drug deals on the phone in there. So, of course there were some chances and some dodge pots floating around. But I think most people wanted a decent job. They wanted something in their life to give it, some sort of meaning.
Some meaning and get up and get out of bed for. Yeah, but no, as I say, I do agree that, at least one day a week, if you've got to sort of apply for some jobs and you're in the unfortunate position of not having work, I think, just to contribute, just for the benefits that you are getting, I can't see a problem with one day a week, even if it's 3 or 4 hours, either pull weeds or go and help somebody at the council to clean the streets.
All right, Chris, thank you very much for that. Chris, they're agreeing with Tebbit. Yeah, they should go out and do something. They. Isn't it funny? The word they is quite divisive, isn't it? It's going to them and us. They. The unemployed should go out and do a little bit of work. Malcolm, do you agree?
If there's work there, then obviously it should be paid properly, and there should be a job for somebody if there's work there to do it.
Well, hang on a minute.
Again, it's the council, isn't it? But
the last caller was saying, if you get your housing benefit paid, you're getting your rent paid for, then go and work 4, 5, 6 hours a week.
Yeah, you could do, but there again, you see, if the actual work is there, then why aren't the council recruiting to get people to come and do it on a regular basis? You see, that's why I look at it. But this thing about Norman Tebbit is what I found. Now, I remember, because I think I was on the dole once or twice, about the same time as you, when Margaret Thatcher was in power, and I think it was implied by the media that's what they wanted everybody. That's what the Tories wanted everybody to do, because his father used to do it when there wasn't much transport about.
Back to the get on your bike thing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
which he never actually said.
No. Well, I don't know. I don't think he did.
No, he didn't.
But I think the media implied that that's what he meant because he was saying that his father used to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but that's not his fault, is it? That the media misinterpreted it or allowed people to misunderstand what he'd said.
No, it's not his fault. But the media came on and everybody was saying it, and of course he just got. That's how it went. He just got out of control because there was a big unemployment time when Margaret Thatcher's was in and everything, and this is how it all got. Everybody was just so out the Tories again and Margaret Thatcher putting everybody out on the dole and all the rest of it, that the media just said it, and this is what everybody said.
Malcolm, thank you. I want to squeeze in Mark before 10 o'clock. Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Lee.
What you got for us, boss? What you got for us?
I tell you, I got your answer for Norman Tebbit.
Go on.
The answer is, you give me that job for 48 hours, I'll go up and down the country, I'll pick out every weed in the country.
Yeah.
Just give me a good standard living wage, as in, I've got to pay taxes, I've got to pay my bills, I've got to keep my children, I've got to feed them and clothe them.
Right.
You give me a good standard living wage, and I'll go up and down the country.
Well, you're going to get your
Norman's best. But I'm not going to do it.
You're going to get your rent paid for. You're going to get council tax rebates. You're going to get 75 quid a week in your pocket. Beautiful. For picking a few weeds. Wonderful.
I'll do it as a job. You give it me as a job, and I'll do it, Norman.
I would love to get my mortgage paid for. If I've got to pick a few weeds one day a week, beautiful. I'm in.
I'll do it for 48 hours. You give it me as a job, Norman. I'll do it. But you've got to understand, for people to pay their taxes, they've got to have a decent standard of earning a decent wage. That's all you ask for, and I bet you many a person on the dole will come off the dole, and rather than be like a very clever, intelligent man who's can afford his own accountant, who can go and work around the taxes, fiddle the system, hold back on all that money that he needn't pay because he's got a very good accountant to look after him. Whereas the people at the other end of the table have to work their way around the system, use the system to their benefit just to keep their heads above the water.
Mark, listen, thank you very much indeed. 03453 009956. I've got some texts. Scott says, Ian, I can't come on the radio to talk to you. I've got to go to work in a mo. I totally agree with Norman Tebbit, though. Why should perfectly healthy people get dole money for doing nothing in return? A lot of them sit on their backsides all day when even just once a week they could do some litter picking, tidy up areas or do small jobs for the elderly. It should be compulsory to do this or no dole money handed out, as simple as that. They should start helping out this country. And Joan says, I used to dislike you, but now I think you're great. And she's calling me Lee. Why is everyone calling me Lee? I mean, you can if you want. I know these irritating people that have a first name as a surname. I know it's a pain in the backside, isn't it? But 03453 009956. We'll carry on talking about that. There's loads of stuff in the papers as well that I want to get in. This Russell Brand thing, the world of conspiracy theories. It's an interesting world, and I enjoy a little dip into the conspiracy theories. Russell Brand was called an idiot last night after saying he was open-minded about whether the US was behind 9/11. The comic, 39, claimed there was an interesting relationship between the families of ex-US President George Bush and Osama bin Laden. Asked about a 9/11 conspiracy, Brand said, "We have to remain open-minded to any kind of possibility. Do you trust the American government? Do you trust the British government?" Well, is it outrageous of Russell Brand to put forward the idea, the conspiracy theory, that maybe the American government had something to do with 9/11? Is that completely outrageous and completely offensive? Or do we kind of need to ask questions like this? Are you a fan of conspiracy theories, or do you think all of them are nut jobs? 03453 009956.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
We'll take your calls on that after we get the latest news with Nicole Pullman.
The Scottish National Party says Labour is in meltdown in Scotland. The SNP's deputy leader, Nicola Sturgeon, was giving her reaction to the resignation of the Scottish Labour Party leader, Joanne Lamont. Ms Lamont accused the Labour Party in Westminster of treating politicians at Holyrood as though they were working in a branch office. Lord Connell, a former Labour First Minister of Scotland, agrees the party is struggling.
Well, I said last week that I thought we had lost our way. I understand that Joanne would herself take some responsibility for that, but I think the responsibility is much wider. I think the referendum campaign showed that we have in recent years struggled to find a voice about modern Scotland.
The World Health Organization says a 2-year-old girl, confirmed to be the first Ebola patient in Mali, travelled hundreds of miles across the country by bus whilst showing symptoms of the disease. The girl, who'd come from Guinea with her grandmother, has since died. More than 40 people known to have come into contact with her have been quarantined. Dr Magna Rabolo from the WHO said all countries needed to redouble their efforts to prevent the disease from spreading.
Countries have different levels, different capacities. Others have strong and robust surveillance systems. Others don't have laboratory capacity to confirm cases. Others don't have treatment centres. So it is extremely difficult. They can do more. That's my answer to it. They can do more, they should do more, and they should be assisted to do more.
A major junction on the M42 is partly closed this weekend. Work is being done at Junction 6, the turn-off for the NEC and the airport. It'll be closed until 6 o'clock on Monday morning. Frank Bird from the Highways Agency told BBC WM what they're trying to achieve.
When we reopen on Monday morning at 6 o'clock, there will be some additional lanes on the island. For those that use the motorway island at the moment, there is already one lane outside the National Motorcycle Museum. This next closure that we're undertaking this weekend will give you another lane over the A45.
Football, and Birmingham City's first game post-Lee Clark is at home to Bournemouth this afternoon, going up against rising managerial star Eddie Howe. He's in his second spell with Bournemouth after failing to settle at Burnley. And the Blues caretaker boss, Malcolm Crosby, notes that Howe seems at his happiest now he's back on the south coast.
No, I mean, he went away and he did quite well at Burnley, but... You know, sometimes you go back to a club and it doesn't always work, but Eddie's walked back in there and he's achieved fantastic results.
The weather, bright and breezy today, cloudy but dry with a top temperature of 15 Celsius, 59 Fahrenheit. Some light rain tonight with lows of 8 Celsius, 46 Fahrenheit. And tomorrow, very much like today, breezy and largely dry. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The Voice. The Voice. The Voice. The Voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
Man.
BBC WM 95.6.
Hey, morning. So much to talk about. I've realised I've got a whole list of things here, and we only did one thing in the first hour. You can give us a call about that. Norman Tebbit suggesting that those people on the dole, do we call it that now? I don't think we do. That they should be going out weeding to get their benefits. 03453 009956. Russell Brand saying we should look at all possibilities behind the 9/11 attacks. He's hinting that he thinks that maybe the American government had something to do with it. Well, I don't tend to buy into conspiracy theories, but I do like hearing them. 03453 009956. Has Russell Brand offended you by suggesting that? Or do you think, actually, no, maybe there is more to these things that happen? And I've got this great list. 50 biggest headaches of modern life. Number 3, Wi-Fi. Oh, flipping heck. Last week, I spent hours trying to sort out the Wi-Fi. It's such a middle-class problem. The Wi-Fi in Pret-a-Manger. And then the Wi-Fi in my house. Can we compile our own list of the 50 biggest headaches of modern life? 03453 009956.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453
00
9956.
BBC WM 95.6.
Let me just give you some of these headaches. Number 50. And this is... people asking questions when your programme is on. That is women to men. That's women to men. You go and watch a film, and I don't normally do that. Hey, women are pain in the backside of men, great. But, because it's lazy, but this is true. You go and watch a film with a woman or my wife. Why is that man chasing that man? Why? I thought he died. Why is he shooting him? I thought they were friends. 03453 009956. Number 40. Number 40, biggest headache of modern life. Mums on Facebook who constantly upload pictures of their kids. Oh, yeah, there's an element of that. People chewing gum with their mouth open, number 38. Forgetting your password, 27. Oh, man! I have got 8 different passwords because for lots of different accounts, I can't remember the password. And then some of them you have to have a capital letter at the front. Here at the BBC, we have to change our password every 3 months. Why would you make me do that? Reality TV shows, middle lane hoggers. And number 13, when you hold the door open for someone and they don't say thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, can we compile our own list of the biggest headaches of modern life? 03453 009956. Your take on conspiracy theories. I don't really believe a lot of conspiracy theories. I tend to think that, 12 terrorists hijacked some planes and flew them into the Twin Towers. I tend to think that Princess Diana died because she was in a car being driven by a drunk man who was going too fast and she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. I actually think that Lee Harvey Oswald shot John F. Kennedy. And we definitely landed on the moon. That's an obvious. 03453 009956. And we can also take your calls about Tebbit. Russell's in Wolverhampton. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning, Ian.
What would you like to say, boss?
Well, I just want to say, I've been, regarding the Norman Tebbit thing, really, I've been on the far end of being unemployed and signing on and what have you. And I just wanted to say, really, that everybody will always harp on about people that are unemployed and they're not worth anything, but just from somebody that's been there, I can just say, really, you've got to fight the system yourself. Just ignore all the people that just badger on. Go and find yourself something, and eventually it'll work out for you.
Russell, we got a tweet from John who says they, I guess meaning unemployed people, should work for the dole, not stay at home smoking dope.
Well, I didn't go that far.
How much dope were you getting through a week when you were signing on?
Well, I've only had one roll up, and that was when I was at university.
Oh, I see. A little bit of magic sprinkled in. But that's kind of the attitude of people, isn't it? That people on the dole are at home getting stoned, watching Jeremy Kyle and playing Xbox.
I think that's the media image, really. And sure, we've all met people that, that really feel like the system owes them something. But really, nobody owes you anything. The only way you only owe yourself the duty to go out and look after yourself and to stand on your own 2 feet and be proud. So,
if that's the case, wouldn't going out 6 hours a week picking weeds, making your community look better, wouldn't that give you a sense of pride?
Well, that's probably something, that's another conversation, really, isn't it? Because really, are you saying that people that do gardening for a living, that their job isn't worth anything? Now, people do make a living out of gardening, so are you depriving those people of a living if you send people off weeding?
Russell, thank you very much. 03453 009956. Richard says on Twitter, biggest modern day headache. Oh, yeah, this is annoying. When the person in front of you in Asda doesn't put the divider down after they're shopping. That is one of my big bugbears. You got to put the divider down. Always put the divider down when you've got your shopping on there, of course. Very lazy. The biggest headaches of modern life. Noisy. I told you the headache with my neighbours. They're not noisy. They're just refusing to take any parcels that get delivered to them now. How rude is that? We had a parcel delivered next door, and the neighbour said to my wife, "Yeah, could you stop getting parcels delivered to us, please?" "Excuse me?" "Yeah, it's just a bit inconvenient." Yeah, it's really inconvenient, isn't it, to have a small box sat in your porch for 2 hours? Yeah, that is really flipping inconvenient. Rude sales assistants. I'm not bothered by rude sales. I like a rude sales assistant. What I don't like is when you go in the shop. "Can I help you, sir?" "No, I'm all right." "You looking for anything particular?" "I'm just looking." "What size?" "None of your business. I know how to shop. I know how to shop for clothes. I look for things that I like the look of, and then I find my size, and then I try them on. That's all I need, okay? And I know how to shop for electronics. I look for things I want, I look at the prices, and then I might ask you a few questions. But until then, just leave me alone. The number of shops I've walked out of because people have approached me and are over-friendly, I tend to turn... I'm off, thanks. I'm off. I turn around and walk out. Stepping in dog muck. I haven't stepped in dog muck for years. What do you use to scrape the dog muck off? A kitchen knife. No, you clean it. You give it a good wipe down with a tea towel afterwards. What else are you supposed to get the dog poo off? You can't do it with a stick. The leaves aren't... If it's in the what do they call the nooks and crannies of a shoe? The grooves. It's not the... There's a word. The treads, is that the word? That's a tyre. What? 03453 009956. What do they call the nooks and crannies of the shoe? You know, the underneath bit. It's not grooves. It's not treads because that's a tyre, isn't it? 03453 009956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Yesterday, on yesterday's show, we were talking about mascots, sports mascots, because there was one mascot that was being a little bit rude to some of the fans, and we got told a story about the Wolves mascot. Well, the Wolves mascot joins me now. Morning, Steve.
Hello, Ian. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Steve. Now, listen, I'm not a football fan, and I asked a really stupid question yesterday. What is the Wolves mascot? Well, of course, it's a wolf, isn't it?
Of course.
And how long... This is a really ridiculous question. How long have you been the Wolves mascot, Steve?
Well, unfortunately, mate, I'm not the Wolves mascot anymore, but I am quite well known for a story that happened quite some time ago.
Go on, what happened?
I used to have something planned for each game. I made quite a thing of it. My dad, bless him, is not with us anymore, was a magician. We used to plan something for each game, and one game in particular took the press's interest because I ended up in a little bit, or Wolfie ended up in a little bit of a fight with 3 pigs.
Oh, yes, sir! What did you do, you plum?
Well, it all started because I used to have a football that I used to do some tricks with, and somebody clever from out the ground, I got involved with kickabout, and he booted it completely out the ground. Ball to play with. Yeah. And I noticed down the other end of the pitch 3 pigs kicking the ball about, so stupidly I thought it would be a good idea to go and pinch theirs off them.
Yeah.
But I'm not the fittest of guys, and I began to realise that 3 against 1 wasn't going to work at all. No. So I decided to take one out at about knee high, and the rest is history.
So hang on. Yeah. So there's I mean, the irony of this is beautiful. A wolf taking on 3 pigs. So what? You took one down.
Yes.
And then the other 2 pummeled you, did they?
Well, they tried to. I'd like to think that I fended them off quite well, and there's quite a few clips of me backing off back to the Wolves' end with 2 pigs trying to swing a few punches at me, and that's what really caught everybody's imagination. It's actually going to go on my gravestone, I think, because everybody talks about it all the time, and it was just a moment in history, if you like, as far as mascots go. It did sort of profile what we're all about, really.
I'm just Googling it now. You were on Have I Got News for You?
Well, yeah, Wolfie was on there. Yeah, that clip is quite well known.
I'm looking at the clip now. So there's the 3... This is brilliant. There's the 3 pigs messing around. Oh, you just slapped one in the face.
Well, I had great vision in that suit. I used to take it home. I was a bit sad, but I used to take it home and work with it to make sure I had good vision, and I never really landed one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do not condone violence, but a man in a full wolf suit slapping a man in a full pig suit around the face, and then he's doing the... You're doing the come on then, if you do want some, you're doing that.
Yeah, well, a lot of people said that it was probably the best entertainment they'd ever seen at Bristol City, and that's something to remember, you know. Mascots are all about entertainment, and I didn't want to be a wave and walk mascot, so I was always looking for something to interest the crowd. It's definitely not violent.
Steve, is that the reason you lost the gig?
Not really, no. It sort of led on from there. Wolfie got extremely popular. It became a full-time job, which I couldn't do. It sort of worked out for everybody. It really made a big thing for Wolfie for quite some time, but I think it's all died down again now since I've moved on.
Oh, mate, you're a legend. Steve, I really appreciate you coming on as Steve Bird. That's a cracking clip. Thank you. Your mascot stories, we'll carry that on from yesterday, or any stories of being dressed up in oversized costumes, please. 03453 00956. Ever seen Mickey Mouse having a fag? Because I bet he does, particularly at Euro Disney. Oh, the Euro Disney, they're all slapdash there. BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel. Here's Matt Freeman.
Erdington, still problems on Chester Road, the A452, which is closed around the Court Lane turn, closed both ways near to the Garden Room coffee shop at the traffic lights there after an accident earlier, and still quite lengthy queues both ways. Better news in Lichfield, where there was an accident on Walsall Road around the Muckley Corner Island. That's been cleared, so traffic is getting back to normal. Little busy through Kings Heath, though, on Ulster Road south towards Addison Road. On the motorways, the northbound M6 entry slip road at junction 12 for Gailey, still closed after roadworks, which should have finished at 8 o'clock this morning but have overrun. And around junction 6 of the M42, roadworks on the roundabout causing closures of each side between the A45 entry and exit slip roads. Is still open, though, to use the M42 north onto the westbound A45 towards the airport and the southbound M42 towards the eastbound A45 through towards Coventry. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 00 2288.
Have you ever had the urge to change the world?
To leave the house with a bath towel draped over your shoulders. To walk into the office with your pants over your trousers. To spend the whole day sporting a pair of yellow pugsy ears. Then you are Captain Costume, my friend. A fundraising fancy dresser, proud to don silly outfits in the name of raising money. So go on, be a hero for BBC Children in Need.
Sign up and pledge your allegiance at bbc.co.uk/Pudsey.
03453 009956. Should the unemployed have to do weeding to earn their keep? Conspiracy theories. Is Russell Brand out of order by asking questions about 9/11? I don't believe the American government was involved. Do you know what? Some of my really, really sensible friends buy into that. Some friends I've got who are quite straight-minded kind of question the Americans involved. Well, yeah, building wouldn't collapse like that, would it? It must have been explosives in the basement. What? I don't believe the conspiracy theories around 9/11. I don't mind hearing them, and I don't think it's offensive to put forward these theories. 03453 009956. Random irritations. And what are the grooves called? The nooks and crannies on the bottom of shoes? John?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you too. What are the nooks and crannies called on shoes?
Well, I would call them crevices.
Crevices?
Yeah, crevices.
Crevices?
Yeah, crevices, yeah.
Crevices?
Yeah. Look the word up.
Crevices? But a crevice is like a hole in the ground.
No, crevices are cracks.
Yeah, in the ground.
Well, yeah, but it's a crack in the bottom of a shoe. I don't think it has any specific name. You said, what would I call them?
Oh.
And I would call them crevices.
There must be a proper word. It's like there is. I can never remember this word. There is a. You know laces.
Yeah.
Right. You know the little plastic bit at the end of laces that helps you thread them.
Yes.
There is a word for those little plastic bits, and I can never remember what it is. My sister knows it, and I always have to ask my sister. There is a proper word for them. So
I've never heard of it, whatever it is.
Well, so there must be a proper word for the crevices of your shoes.
Well, yeah, I'd still call it the crevices of your shoe, which is part of the patination, if that's another word to use. No, I'd call them crevices.
03453 009956. The correct medical name for the crevices of the shoe, and also the little bit of black plastic at the end of the shoelaces.
And Iain?
Yes, John?
And also minor irritations, and they are minor, by the way.
Yeah.
This is the particular one that gets up my nose. People, especially on WM, will come out and give a phone number out.
I know what you're going to say. Go on.
08453 009956. Is it 0 or is it 0? Doesn't matter which one you use, but at least have some form of continuity giving out a number.
I always do the 00 and the O, but of course that's incorrect because O is a letter. You're not going to dial a letter. It should be 0.
Absolutely, but it is accepted just by practice over tens of years that you can use the letter O in replace of the letter 0. You can do. We
John,
just do it by practice.
Name and shame. Which of the slackers here at BBC WM 95.6 mix it up?
Well, no one in particular. It's actually more of your callers.
Danny Kelly? Is it Kelly? Is it Kelly that does it in the morning?
It's people who actually call in.
Is it Daz? Does Daz do it? Because if it's Daz, I'll give him a slap.
No, it's the callers, not the presenter, the actual callers. And it doesn't matter which one you use, but at least have some continuity. Don't say O, then suddenly change it to 0.
John, thank you very much indeed. Because, by the way, if anyone wants to grass up any of the presenters here at BBC WM 95.6 for being slack, I'm more than happy to take that on for you. If Daz is not living up to his name, if Danny Kelly's not pulling his weight, if Molly Green is letting you down, let me know and I'll sort them out, OK? I've got influence here. Influence. David is in Wolverhampton. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
What you got for us, boss?
I used to be a volunteer for the Urban Wildlife Trust.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to dress up as a badger.
Oi, beautiful.
I was outside supermarkets or inside on the high streets.
And did you get bullied by children?
Sorry?
Did you get bullied by children?
Oh, no. It was the opposite, actually. And there was one supermarket, the checkout ladies used to have a little sweep to see how long it'd take me to make a child cry because I was so big.
Oh, blimey. So, and
all good fun.
All good. Hey, it's great fun making kids. This, by the way, you've just introduced another phone call. How have you made a child cry? 03453 009956. That is brilliant because kids cry at the weirdest things. But a giant badger that would probably bring me to tears, David.
It was all right, but it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Well, why did you enjoy it? What was the fun of being a badger?
Well, you get up to things and you can do silly things like. I was in a certain supermarket.
Yes.
Where they play the music. And I was dancing to the music. And all of a sudden, I had all the kids around me dancing with it. It was like Band Moon Rising and all things like that.
Yeah.
And you can get away with it. Because nobody see you.
Listen, if I'm out and there's a good busker, right, particularly if I've got my kids, or if I'm in a shop and they're playing I'll have a little boogie. I love a little boogie. If I've got the boys with me... We'll stop we'll put down the shopping basket, we'll have a little dance. I don't need to be dressed up as a badger. What happens when you need a wee, David?
Well, I take time out, you know.
You don't have a pouch or anything?
No. I used to go to the supermarkets and I'd make sure I use their facilities.
Yes, always good.
Or if I was in the high streets, I'd make arrangements with one of the shops.
Yeah, sensible. David, listen, I appreciate your call, 03453 009956. Your stories of being dressed up as a giant creature or what you have seen. If you've seen them having a punch-up, yes, please. If you've seen Mickey Mouse having a fag, I'll have that. And also, how have you made a child cry? 03453 009956. Robert's in West Bromwich. Good morning, Robert.
Hello again.
Hello, Rob.
Is it a tread on your shoes and that?
Yeah.
You know, you said about the shoes, it's a tread.
Oh, yeah. What do we call the nooks and crannies on the bottom of a shoe?
I think it's a tread.
But tread is on a tyre, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I mean, a tread, because when you're in the snow, it marks, right? Well, I presume it's a tread. And should I apologise for last week about the blaming oxo?
Oh,
which
yeah.
you tried and then you had indigestion.
Oh, do you know what? Right, for those who missed it, Robert, I apologise sincerely. I thought you're very welcome. I thought that oxo was a gravy, okay, and I've been using it as a gravy. Robert told me. Go on, sorry.
You can't make it as a gravy if you put flour or like the other people said corn flour.
Yeah.
But an oxo, you can have it as a drink.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know this,
and
I laughed at you.
Yes.
And then
I was listening to you.
And then everyone I've spoken to in the week has gone. Well, of course it's not. Of course it's a drink, you idiot.
Yeah.
I drank some last week.
Yes, you had indigestion.
Oh, I felt so ill all afternoon, Robert. I felt terrible.
Well, you should have had something to eat before.
Yeah, I should have had a bit of beef.
Well, no, it is like a beef gravy.
Robert,
but
listen.
it is a drink.
Robert, treasure this moment, because I tell you what, this ain't never going to happen again. Hang on.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would like to humbly apologise, and I sincerely mean this, to Robert of West Bromwich for laughing at him and calling him an idiot when actually he was speaking proper sense and I was the idiot. Robert, I'm very sorry. Do you accept my apology?
All right. It's all right.
You're loving
Thanks anyway.
Thank you, Robert. He's loving that, isn't he? He's loving that. And listen, for those haters, who are still listening, by the way, good morning. If I'm wrong, I'll apologise. More than happy to apologise to Rob there. Here's another Rob. Morning, Rob.
Morning, Ian.
What have you got for us?
I don't think I've heard you apologise in all the Saturday mornings that I've listened to you.
It doesn't happen very often, but when I'm wrong, I will accept it. Won't be happening again for a while. Go on.
I've got no mascot stories, I'm afraid, but I'm with that last caller. It's the tread of the sole. The tread of the sole on the shoe, and the eyelets is where the laces pass through.
Well, the laces pass through the eyelets, but there's that little bit of black plastic at the end of the lace. That's got a name. And I can't think... Yeah, it's got a name. It's actually got a name, and I can't think what the name is.
You need to ring somewhere like Timpson's, I think, here.
Hey, do you know, here's an interesting fact. My interesting fact about Timpson's, it's the biggest employer of ex-cons in the country.
Yeah, he trains them while they're still in prison.
He trains them while they're still in prison. I think that's brilliant.
He got some kind of... I think he got... Not a knighthood, but he got a MB... Oh, God, what's the word?
MBE, OBE, CBE, BBC?
He got one or the other for one of those.
He got something for that, and well done, because I didn't know that, and I heard him talking about it, and I think that's brilliant, that loads of ex-cons are working in Timpson's. More power to their elbow, please. Rob, are you a fan... Listen, Rob, are you a fan of conspiracy theories?
I can be.
Are there any that you buy into? I like hearing them. I like the stories, but I think that generally... I think they're all pretty much made up. Are there any that you actually kind of half believe in?
I think quite a bit of this stuff going on with ISIS at the moment could, it just needs a bit of a bad taste, I think.
What are your conspiracy theories about ISIS?
I think it's probably a little bit too close to the date of certain events to go into huge detail, but I have serious questions as to why we waited 9 months to reveal that someone had been taken hostage. And that's a horrible thing to say, but it just makes you wonder what else is going on.
And this is tasteless, but I'm prefacing it by saying this is tasteless, and I don't buy this for 1 second. But I read a conspiracy theory a couple of weeks ago that the ISIS people and the gentlemen that have been killed, they're all actors. Now, obviously, this is I nearly swore then. This is nonsense. But those theories, those conspiracy theories, are starting to get out there about it.
I think there's a lot of it that just doesn't make sense. It does make people question things that they wouldn't normally question. You know?
Rob, listen, thank you. It's not the greatest line, but thank you. There are ISIS conspiracy theories going around. Of course there are. 03453 009956. Do you buy into any of these conspiracy theories? Do you make any sense of this at all? Do you think it's a load of old guff? Russell Brand saying we should be questioning America's involvement in 9/11. Does that annoy you? Does that offend you? Does that disappoint you? If you do call, you will get through eventually. It's just my team are messing around. Looks like they're watching something on YouTube and having a right old laugh. What on earth are you two doing? Bernie and producer Joe. Oh, OK. All right. 0345. Oh, it turns out they're actually working. I've never seen people enjoying themselves while they've worked with me before. 03453 009956. Christine's in Tetton Hall. Good morning, Christine.
Hello.
What would you like to say?
It's a tongue in the shoe.
The what?
The tongue. The flap. The flap that goes under where you put the lace through.
That's the tongue.
Eyelets. It's called the tongue.
Yes.
Well, that's what you were trying to find out, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, well, I thought it was.
No, the bit I'm trying to find, Christine, is the end of the lace.
Oh.
Because you know at the end of the shoelace,
yes,
there's like a little plastic bit that makes it easier to put it through the eyelet.
Oh, I get you.
And that's got a name.
Has it?
Yeah, there's a name for that.
Oh, right.
It's like one of my favourite words.
Oh.
What are the spikes called on a fork?
No, what is it?
The tine.
Is it?
The tines of a fork. I love that word.
Is that T-I or T-Y?
Well, T-I, it can't be Tyne. It was Tyne with a Y, but Gaza sued Fawkes in the 80s because he owns the Fog on the Tyne.
Oh, right.
So it's T-I-N-E.
Oh, right.
I love that.
That's something I've learned today, isn't it?
Christine, what are you doing today?
Not a lot, because, I've got a very bad back problem.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'm doubled up with it, actually.
Oh, really?
Most of the time, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Have you been to the doctor?
Yes, well, he said it's posture, but little does he realise it hurts me because my one hip sticks out. I'm most peculiar shape.
Oh, really? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. There's a story. I'm desperately trying to find it now. There's a story in one of the papers. Where is it? I can't... about posture.
Yes.
And about how sitting correctly... Where is it? Is it in the Mail, I think? Where is it gone? I'm terrible at finding stuff in the paper. Sitting correctly. Here we go.
Yeah.
Sit up straight and beat stress.
Yeah.
Better posture leads to better mood by influencing nervous system. Sitting comfortably, good. Then you're less likely to be stressed. The best way to remain calm and upbeat when you feel overwhelmed could be as simple as changing the way you sit. So have you got bad posture, Christine? Do you sit badly?
Well, I'm not too bad. I'm on a dining chair at the moment, and my back is straight.
Yeah.
But when I need to relax, I've got one now that will stand me up if all singing, dancing.
Oh, one of those chairs that does it recline a bit and lift your legs up, but then it goes the other way and helps you stand up?
I've always put my legs up, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, that is because people used to have an old puff, didn't they? In there, my nan had an old puff in her living room. You don't tend to get puffs anymore.
No, I've got a stool with a foam cushion I used to use, but now I've got this. I don't need it because my legs go up and I can go back.
I would love a chair. My mum used to have one of those chairs, and I was often turfing her out so I could sit on it, because there's something very special about putting your feet up and watching the telly, isn't there?
There is, and then I usually drop off and miss the end.
Hey, Christine, well, I hope your back gets better.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your call. You don't get puffs in living rooms anymore, do you? My nan had a great old puff in her living room. Oh, it was so comfortable. 03453 009956. Sit up straight, yes, and beat stress. They found that people who sat upright with their shoulders straight fared much better emotionally when carrying out a stress-filled public speaking task than those that were hunched. Really? The problem is, Liz, that the most comfortable chairs are the ones that are the worst for you. Hello? Sorry? Liz, you all right? Liz? 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 Liz?
Hello.
Oh, you're there, Liz. Hello, Liz.
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry, Liz, I do apologise.
That's all right.
What have you got
I
for
thought
us?
I'd gone deaf then.
No, do you know who we were listening? Shh. We were listening to Terry. Listen. Shh.
Are you sitting comfortably?
I am.
I thought that was you heavy breathing, Liz, but that was Terry.
Then I'll begin.
No.
I could hear the heavy. Who's Terry?
Terry, say hello to Liz.
Good morning. Hello, Liz. How are you?
Hello, Terry. I'm fine, thank you. Are you?
Yes, I'm good, but I wish you'd stop using the word puff.
And me, I think it's buffet, isn't it?
It's buffet.
Oh, you
Yes,
snobs! In my house, we had an old puff, not a buffet.
I know all about the old puffs. Yeah.
There's an old puff in this house.
Steady on now, steady. Liz, what would you like to say? Terry, try not to interrupt too much.
Right, you wanted to know about the little bits on the end of laces.
The little plastic bit at the end of the laces.
Yeah, they're called. I think it's pronounced aglet.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, yes, Liz, it is the aglet. Of course, it's the aglet.
Congrats.
It's AGLETS.
That's it, the aglets.
Yeah.
Isn't it great that there's a word for everything, isn't there?
There is. Yeah, they usually call it the little bits or the ends, but that's the real name for it, is aglets. Where that comes from, I don't know, but that's what it's called.
I like. It's a good word, isn't it, Tel?
It is.
Well, there's a word.
He's gone, he has.
Yeah, I know.
There's a word for you, but they'll take me off the air.
Steady. Liz, how do you sit down, Liz?
Well, I slouch, but I'm sitting in the dining chair at the minute.
Oh, another one in the dining chair to talk to us.
Yeah, while I'm talking to you, but the best thing for pain in your back and shoulders is exercise.
No.
Yeah, not proper exercise by the physiotherapist.
No, do you know what? I had a fantastic massage this week.
Oh, God, I'd love one of them.
Oh, mate, it was wonderful. I booked an hour massage. This young lady, she was walking all over my back.
Oh.
And it was great. The thing is, right, Terry and Liz...
if it was a man, he could walk all over me back there.
I'll come and walk on your back, Liz. The thing is, right, I get very nervous when I have massages, okay? Because there is a connotation, a gentleman going for a massage, there are sexual connotations, aren't there?
There is, yeah.
Yeah, and I genuinely wanted a massage. So throughout the massage, I was making noises. No, this is true.
Were you on the edge of an orgasm?
Oh, Terry! Please, Liz, I can only apologise. I was... Oh, dear. Liz has never heard that word. Come on, stop being mucky.
It's lowering the tone.
Isn't he just... No, this is the thing. I wanted this young lady to know. She's a trained masseuse. I wanted her to know... Oh, for goodness sake. I wanted her to... You're like two kids, you are. Stop giggling.
It serves you right for slagging off Danny Kelly.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Listen.
I'm crying.
I want... Can I finish? Well, there's an unfortunate choice of words. I wanted her to know... Will you two stop it? We'll get...
Stop it.
We're going to get... Terry, I expected it of you. Liz, I thought you were better than this.
I am.
No, you're not. You're worse. Right.
I'm a bad influence.
Oh.
Come on, let me finish. Now, I wanted her to know that I wanted a legitimate massage, right? And I didn't want any of that nonsense that Terry was talking about. So... Oh, stop it. So, throughout the massage, I was making noises that would imply to her I was... I don't...
You'll get taken off the air in a minute.
Yeah, I know. This is true. This is serious.
It's fun though, isn't it?
I know. I was making noises, right?
Yeah.
So that she would know that I was enjoying the massage and I didn't want anything sexual from her, right? So throughout the massage, I'm going, ooh. Oh yeah, that's good. And I'm doing all of that because I wanted her to know that I was enjoying the art of the massage.
Yeah.
Because I was getting very nervous, that because I'm a bloke in there, in my pants, wearing my massage pants, and I didn't want her to think I wanted anything extra.
You have to tell them that.
No, I don't think you do. You don't tell them that. Anyway, Liz, you're a mucky sort. I'm cutting you off. Bye-bye.
All right, then, bye.
Ta-ta. Unbelievable. Terry, I expected it from you, but not from Liz.
Oh, I am sorry. It's one of those mornings.
I'm going to get so many complaints today.
It's your own fault for slagging off Danny Kelly. Might be slightly overweight, but he's a good guy.
I wasn't no, before this rumour started. There's already a rumour I'm a transvestite. Let's nix that. Now, do not start the rumour. I've been slagging off Danny Kelly. I've not at all. I've just been asking listeners, if you have spotted Danny Kelly, doing something inappropriate, let me know. I think Danny Kelly is excellent.
I don't care if you're a transvestite. You do what you want to do.
I'm not a transvestite.
Well, I'm going to see two friends of mine this afternoon and discuss whether we should go to the auditions for Britain's Got Talent tomorrow, Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. What would you do, Terry?
Well, I'm going to go as my alter ego, Millie Vicious, in full drag.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
I suggest you do.
Yeah, I'm going to just go in there just to send it all up. We've got two auditions anyway. If you pass the one next week, you've got another one in January. So
hang on a second, Terry. Does your act involve a dog, or
no?
Chucking a young child around? Because those acts seem to do really well on X Factor and Britain's Got Talent.
Well, Ness has got two beautiful dogs, and Maggie, the collie, can count.
Sorry?
My friend Ness is a beautiful singer, and she's got a collie dog.
You're back to the collie dog. It counts,
Yeah.
does it?
He does count. If you say 1, he'll say 1. The same with 2 and the 3.
What do you mean he'll say 1?
He'll bark 1.
Right, okay,
Sorry.
so he'll bark, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any... I've just thought that this is going to be the perfect Britain's Got Talent act, right?
Yeah.
They like dogs, they like small things being chucked around. Start juggling dogs.
Oh, good God. Somebody said to me, why don't you do a Julie and Clary and take your little dog with you? But I don't know. I don't really like exploitation of dogs.
Okay.
Penn, Pensnet,
Rugeley, Redditch,
Rowley Regis. Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM
95.6.
I've no idea what happened there. I have no idea what happened. So I was genuinely making these noises. Yeah. Oh, that is good. That is really good. When she was doing, like, painful stuff to me, go for a massage producer's job. It's £50 for an hour. I loved it. Oh, I thought that was quite a bargain, actually. She was good. Oh, yeah, that is good. And cause there is, when you're a gentleman going for a massage, there's always an underlying kind of connotation, and I wanted her to know that I was genuinely enjoying the art of the massage. Ray's in Solihull. Morning, Ray.
Oh, hello there.
What have you got for us, boss?
It's about about 9/11.
Oh, yeah, Russell Brand has suggested that the Americans may have been involved.
I don't think I would go as far as that sort of conspiracy theory, but there are some strange facts about it, nevertheless.
Go on, give me the strange facts.
For a start off, all the conspirators came from Saudi Arabia.
Right.
In fact, it was more or less believed now that that's where the plot was hatched.
Right.
So Bin Laden came from a wealthy Saudi Arabian family.
Yeah.
But the Saudi Arabian family were close friends of George Bush's family.
Right.
Now, instead of attacking Saudi Arabia, they cobbled up some fantasy about weapons of mass destruction, and they attacked Iraq instead.
Oh, yeah, well, I would agree that the connection between 9/11 and Iraq, or indeed Afghanistan, is very, very flimsy at best.
There's no connection at all.
But does that mean, Ray, if we work backwards a bit, are you implying that the Americans were involved with 9/11? Because that sounds crazy to me.
I'm not involving that. I'm not going to say I know things or I don't know. What I'm saying to you, there's something very fishy about it. It's fishy. Very fishy and strange. And you see, I'd like to say, on the day that they attacked Iraq illegally, I wrote to the Birmingham Post.
Yeah.
And I said that this is a very dangerous illegal precedence. Somebody's going to note this and mimic it later on. Well, of course, years later, Putin did the same thing, didn't he? But, of course, according to the Western powers, he was illegal and we were legal.
Well, no. But the Putin thing is different, because Putin wants to reclaim or to claim land that isn't his, whereas we apparently went in there. Well, we're out of Iraq now. We wanted them to set up their own government eventually.
Well, you see, what we're doing now is we're paying the price of the illegal invasion of Iraq.
But Putin doesn't want the Ukraine to have its own Ukrainian government. He wants it to be under Russian control. Whereas we wanted Iraq to have its own...
Done there. What I'm saying is that Putin probably looked at what we did in Iraq, and it could have given him the idea. If they can get away with it, that's all I can.
Here's something, Ray. Talking of conspiracy theories, do you remember that Malaysian airplane that went missing?
Yes.
And then do you remember that Malaysian... Was it Malaysian or Singapore? I can't remember. Malaysian, I think.
I remember that.
That Malaysian airplane that got shot down in Ukraine. Why don't we hear about those two planes anymore? Why don't we hear about those?
Well...
It's all gone quiet, hasn't it?
Well, it's all gone quiet because there are more serious... you see, getting back to the initial point that I was making to you see...
Yes, Ray.
Is that of all the countries in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia has got probably the worst record in human rights. In fact, it's been described as the biggest women's prison in the world because the women have probably got no rights at all there. And yet they're close friends and allies, and we supply them with all the weapons they need.
Did we land on...
It's
Ray,
a very messy business, isn't it?
Ray, did we land on the moon?
I think it would be a very difficult thing to fake.
Did we... how did Princess Diana die?
Sorry?
How did Princess Diana die?
I didn't get that.
How did Princess Diana die?
doubt that there's some talk that the Duke of Edinburgh got something behind it.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Then again, I think that some of these fantasies... I mean, I think, having said that, I think she was a thorn in the side of them.
Yeah.
I don't think that they probably breathed a sigh of relief when it happened.
I can imagine that.
Yeah,
and what was it? Who shot JFK?
I think that all these mysteries, you see, may be cleared up or they may not. But what I'm getting back to my point, the original point about 9/11, I wouldn't go along with what Mr. Brand said, but what I'm saying, there are some very fishy aspects to it.
Ray, thank you very much. 03453 009956 9/11. Very fishy. 10:45 exactly. It's BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel. Here's Matt Freeman.
Problems continuing through Erdington. Chester Road, the A452 is closed around the Court Lane turn after an accident there earlier on. It's around the traffic lights at the Garden Room coffee shop where it's closed, and it's still causing queues both ways around there. Onto the motorways, the northbound M6 has a lane closed after an accident between junction 8 for the M5 and junction 9 for Wednesbury, the A461. That's starting to cause queues back along that stretch, and also on the M5 as you head north from junction 1 through towards the M6 link. Elsewhere on the northbound M6, the entry slip road at junction 12 for Gailey still closed for roadworks that should have finished at around 8 this morning but have overrun by quite a few hours by now. And around junction 6 of the M42 there are roadworks on the roundabout itself where you meet the A45. Closures on both sides between the A45 entry and exit slip roads, but still open if you're heading north on the M42 towards the westbound A45 towards the airport, and from the southbound M42 the lane on towards the eastbound A45 through towards Coventry. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
The voice of Birmingham in the Black Country.
BBC WM
95.6.
No, that's the wrong thing. I was trying to be clever. Oh, flipping it. I've muffed up the computer now and I've got to move it. I've muffed up the computer, Mo! Mo?
How have you done that?
Well, I was trying to play the Ed Doolan Christmas... Ray, are you still there? Ray?
Never mind, Ray.
Well,
I'm here.
Yeah, well, no, but Ray's screen says he's still there. Oh, it don't matter. Anyway, Mo, I'm trying to get the Ed Doolan Christmas Trail to play, right? So I've dragged it around on my computer, but then it played the news. I've muffed up the computer basically. I don't know. I've got no idea how to fix it. That needs to
I'm sure you'll find someone there.
Well, there's no one here to fix. My producer Joe and Bernie have just spent the last hour and 45 minutes trying to get a 2-minute bit of audio to go on Twitter. They haven't got a clue. I've got 13 minutes to sort this out. I'm not going to ask them to do it.
Well, you've got to.
Dear.
You've got to allow time to talk to me.
Well, I mean, do I?
Yes.
How much time do you reckon you're going to need today?
Probably as long as it takes.
OK, shall we have Ed Doolan and then I'll come to you?
Go on then.
The Ed Doolan Christmas Show.
Would you welcome to the stage
Winners of Britain's Got Talent, Calabro.
Safe behind
Birmingham comedy legend, Jasper Carrott.
I've got a marvellous mother-in-law. She's a test pilot in the broom factory.
Black country comedian, Doug Parker.
We've had some tough times in Wolverhampton, mate. Even the advent calendars are boarded up.
And more big names still to be announced. The Ed Doolan Christmas Show. Friday, the 12th of December at the Symphony Hall, Birmingham from 11 a.m. Tickets cost £5 plus a transaction fee. Call 0121 345 0600 or visit thsh.co.uk.
BBC WM
95.6.
You going, Mo?
Pardon?
Are you going?
I doubt it.
Why is that? It's only a £5 plus booking fee. Sounds great.
I have been to one. It actually was quite good.
Well, why are you not going to go to this one? What's your beef? What's your beef with Doolan?
Because I've got other things to do in December, and I don't know. I actually.
What's your beef with Doolan? He's putting a show on for you. Go and see Doolan.
I'm not putting Doolan down.
You've just put Doolan down.
I'm not putting Ed Doolan down. I rate Ed Doolan highly.
Well, then go and see his show.
Well, if I can, I will. Actually, I might, because, yes. I might look into that a bit more.
Are you going to go and see Doolan or not?
Well, I might do, because I've got a couple of new friends.
What? New friends? Who gets new
friends,
Who gets new friends at your age?
You don't know my age.
I do.
Go on then.
63. That's freaked you out, hasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, isn't it?
Okay. Yes, I've got a couple of new friends from my walking group.
Who gets new friends at 63?
Well, if you start things
How did I do that?
that interest people, they will join you. And I started a walking group about a year ago.
Why?
Why? To keep fit.
Yeah. How did I do that?
We
That's really
walk.
freaked me out.
We walk for 2 hours
Oh,
at
gosh.
a time.
Yeah.
And we overtake young people.
Yeah, because young people are enjoying
Too
themselves.
fat.
What?
Too overweight.
Young people are too fat.
Most of them, yeah.
No, they're not. Young people are skinny.
No, a minority are.
No, the majority of young people are skinny. Of course, there's a few fat people, young people, but most of them are skinny.
Well, you haven't visited Tamworth of late.
No, is Tamworth a fat town?
Well, it isn't just Tamworth. I mean, Tamworth is a representative of the whole of our country. You know, there are too many obese people, and even at the age I'm at, they get in my
63.
way. Because I walk so fast, Iain.
Yeah.
They're in my way.
Hey, I tell you what I don't get, right? Do you have those walking sticks, like ski sticks?
No, I just need my legs.
Why do you see... I see some people striding very purposefully through towns with those ski sticks.
Well, they're meant for towns.
Yeah, but I see people doing it. What the hell is that for?
Oh, they're just trying to draw attention to themselves.
Well,
anyway, that isn't why I rang you.
No, it's not. You what have you called in for?
Well, I've called on two matters, if I may.
Probably going to have a whinge.
No, I don't know. It depends.
There's a surprise.
One is
do.
Tebby, also known as the Thug in the 1980s and 90s.
Yeah.
Politically known as the Thug.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right, actually. You're right, and your listeners were wrong. What you quoted, what he said...
Norman Tebbit did not say to the unemployed people, get on your bike.
No, but he implied it.
No, he did...
If my dad did it, you can do it, but...
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say...
He said my father was unemployed, as I've already agreed with you, Iain.
Yeah, but no, but you've just said, my dad did it, you can do it. That's not what he said.
That's what he implied. When he said that, during the massive unemployment... that we
I
had-
grew up in the aftermath of the 1981 riots.
Yeah.
He responded to the Young Conservative National Chairman, quote, I grew up in the 30s with an unemployed father.
Yeah.
He didn't riot. He got on his bike and looked for work. He kept looking till he found it. At no point does he say to the unemployed people, get on your bike.
I've already agreed with
But then
that.
you just contradicted yourself.
No.
Yes.
Listen.
I'm listening.
Please, listen. I've listened to you. You listen to me. Yes, he said that exactly as you've just related. But what it implied was that if my father can get on his bike and look for work, so can other people who are unemployed at the moment. But that's fine to say that and imply that. Most people in the 30s, if they were lucky not to be on starvation wages if they were working, if they had a bike, they would have had to have sold it to put food on the table. You know, he overlooks so many other things, him and his cohorts, when they make statements like that. OK, you're not going to come back on that.
I'm flipping it, Mo. I can't win with you. You tell me to shut up and listen, and then when I'm listening and digesting the words what you done said, I get told off again.
Oh, OK. Well, did you want to respond then?
No.
OK. Can I go on to Timpson's then?
Yes, you can. Timpson's, the
Timpson's.
cobblers.
No, I didn't know.
Cobblers. Don't, because I got told off for asking some bloke about his bollards getting run over. I don't want to talk about other people's cobblers.
Okay.
Okay.
You
Calm down.
informed me this morning, which I didn't know, that he, and it's an admirable thing that he does, employs ex-offenders.
Ex-offenders. It's not sex offenders. Timpson's is one of the biggest employers of ex-convicts.
But
in this
know,
country.
I'm going to ask for a little bit of a downer on that.
Oh, go on then. What, you worried you're going to get your shoes stolen?
No. we've got a Timpson's here in Tamworth, and I've used them several times, and they're good people.
Yeah.
But they've been burgled a lot.
Well, you're not saying it's the people that are working there are burgling it, are you?
No.
Who's going to burgle a Timpson's? What are they going to steal? Some aglets? A bit of boot polish?
No.
Some uncut keys? What are they going to steal?
They might burgle because because you never know what people burgle, don't they? It doesn't necessarily mean they know.
They're not going to. Who is going to burgle Timpson's? Because there's nothing there worth nicking.
The point is, it has been burgled quite a few times.
And so, are you suggesting, Mo, that the ex-cons that work in Timpson's are burgling Timpson's?
Well, the only answer I can give to that is when I heard you say that he was a really nice man and he employed ex-offenders, and I know about these burglaries because I live in the town. It gets in the paper and you hear things. That I'm afraid, you think of one thing and you match it up to another. Doesn't mean it's true. Do you know what you're doing? No. What?
You are JTC, Mo.
JTC?
You are JTC.
What's that?
You are jumping to conclusions.
Yes, but I'm not. Yes, but that's a natural way for the mind to work.
But I don't. But why would they? I'm trying to find about the robberies at the Timpsons in Tamworth. July the 5th last year. Oh, look! Thieves smashed their way in through a reinforced door. Oh, it did happen.
It happened more than once.
But did they go and rob other shops?
I only heard about Timpson's. So.
Oh, look, they've got CCTV footage. It couldn't have been the people that work there because they're on the CCTV footage without any masks on. Timpson's, this was last year. Oh, there's a picture of a giant Ninja Turtle has popped up. That's useful. Oh, for goodness sakes, go away.
OK, you're saying that the police had CCTV photographs of the people that burgled it the last time without masks on.
The George Street was targeted by burglars in November last year and then again 4 weeks later. In January this year, burglars broke it. Oh, it's happened a few times, hasn't it?
Yep.
Oh.
Even before those times. It has happened a few times.
Yeah. Well, I doubt it's the people that work there.
I don't know. I'm just saying. That's all.
I'm so suspicious. Hey, Mo, here's something for you. Right, Posh Spice.
Pardon?
Posh Spice.
Yeah.
You know Posh Spice?
Of course.
Yeah. Can you sing any of her songs?
No.
Why?
Her songs or Spice Girls?
Well, yeah, Spice Girl songs.
No, I couldn't sing. I mean, no.
Slam your body down and wind it all around.
But you know what, Ian?
When was the last time you slammed your body down and wound it all around?
Probably when I did yoga.
OK. Victoria Beckham was yesterday accused of stunting her daughter's speech and putting her teeth at risk of damage by still letting her use a dummy. How old is her daughter, Mo?
I think she's about two, maybe.
She's 63. No, she's 3 years old. Harper Beckham is beyond the age that most health experts would advise giving a child a pacifier. At what age should you stop giving a child a dummy?
I don't know. I mean, my youngest had a dummy. I lost it one day. I didn't know until 6:45 till she was going to bed on the night. I dreaded her going to bed. There were no shops open of an evening then. I put her to bed. She just fell straight asleep, and it never bothered her ever again. So the answer to that question, I don't know. But I'll tell you this, Ian.
Yeah.
I don't drive anymore. I use buses, and I see young mums with babies and young children, and if they get a bit grizzly or they get a bit mardy, the first thing they do, these young mums, is stick something in the child's mouth: a sweet, a nibble, a snack, a dummy.
A what? A sweet? A what?
Anything.
What did you say? A nipple?
A nibble.
A nipple?
No, I didn't say the one with a P.
Here's the thing, right?
Your mind is not working right.
Here's the thing I don't get, right? You know that some mums breastfeed their kids when their kids are like 5 or 6?
Yeah.
That is wrong. That is perverse, isn't it?
I would agree.
Yeah. That is a mum breastfeeding a kiddie at 5 years old. Oh, well, the kiddie wants it. Yeah, of course the kiddie wants it.
It's got a mouthful of teeth.
Exactly. It's good as smart, isn't it? They latch on to that. That bad boy. Ouch. Mo, nice to talk to you. Ta-ta.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. 03453 009956. So Posh Spice lets her 3-year-old Harper have a dummy at the age of 3? That can't be right. Our boys didn't take to dummies. We tried. They weren't interested. They liked their bottles. They were into their bottles. They didn't like dummies. What age should you stop giving a child a dummy? And mums that breastfeed when their kids are 3, 4, 5, 6. I can see Nicole pulling a face. It's wrong. Those kids are sentient and are aware what they are doing. 03453 009956.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
I'm really sorry, guys. There's another hour of this nonsense. I can only apologise. It's 11 o'clock. Let's get the news now. Here's Nicole Pullman.
The Scottish National Party says Labour is in meltdown in Scotland. The SNP's deputy leader, Nicola Sturgeon, was giving her reaction to the resignation of the Scottish Labour Party leader, Joanne Lamont. Ms Lamont accused the Labour Party in Westminster of treating Scottish politicians as though they were working in a branch office. Lord McConnell, a former Labour First Minister of Scotland, agrees that the party is struggling.
Well, I said last week that I thought we had lost our way. I understand that Joanne would herself take some responsibility for that, but I think the responsibility is much wider. I think the referendum campaign showed that we have in recent years struggled to find a voice about modern Scotland.
The German MEP Alexander Graf Lambsdorff has said that Europe expects the UK to pay the extra £1.7 billion it's asked for towards the EU budget. The demand was made because of growth in the UK economy. Yesterday, David Cameron said the EU had another think coming if it thought Britain would pay the bill by the deadline of December the 1st. But Mr Lambsdorff said the EU would be exasperated if Britain tried to avoid paying.
Everybody has to pay their dues. If you have higher GDP growth than forecast, that also means logically that you have a higher contribution to the community's budget. That is a logical consequence, and that is something that everybody has signed up for.
2 months on, thousands of pounds of trophies taken from the National Motorcycle Museum in Solihull still haven't been traced. They were stolen in August by what's thought to have been scrap metal dealers. James Hewing is the museum's director. He says they've found a couple of them.
The police have certainly done what they can, and a stolen Land Rover Defender was dumped with a couple of the trophies in the back still, down sort of a quiet lane, but I'm afraid even following sort of forensic examination, there was nothing came to light.
Football and West Bromwich Albion face Crystal Palace at the Hawthorns this afternoon, live on our DAB frequencies in the Black Country. Goalkeeper Ben Foster has overcome a calf injury and is likely to return to the starting lineup. Baggies head coach Alan Irvine says Palace will be a handful.
They don't make it easy for you to play through them. When you do give them the ball, they break extremely quickly. They're very dangerous, and they've proven that. You know, in 2 of the 3 games I've watched, they've won from not having the majority of the possession. So it just shows that they can be really effective.
The weather bright and breezy today, cloudy but dry, with a top temperature of 15 Celsius, 59 Fahrenheit. Some light rain tonight with lows of 8 Celsius, 46 Fahrenheit. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The Voice. The Voice. The Voice. The Voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
BBC WM 95.6.
This really is one of the oddest shows. It's not on Twitter yet. It's not on Twitter. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. We're trying to... oh, no, there it is. OK, right, yes. If you go onto Twitter, at BBC WM, or if you follow me, at Iain Lee, you get to hear a phone call that I did to Molly Green's show earlier on. Was it a phone call from me? Or was it a guy called Mark? It was both. It was me pretending I had a pumpkin girlfriend. at BBCWM, at Iain Lee. What are we talking about this morning? I've got no idea what happened in the last hour. I've got literally no idea what happened. It was the weirdest thing ever. We're talking about Norman Tebbit saying that unemployed people should go and do the weeding to get their money. What things annoy you? Wi-Fi, junk mail, stepping in dog muck. Conspiracy theories. Was America behind the Twin Towers attack? No, but... And at what age should you stop giving babies dummies? And those deviants that breastfeed their children at the age of 6? I can't stop talking, it's my job. It's my raison d'etre. 03453 009956. Oh, no, hang on. Now we've gone... Oh, blimey. Now we've gone to the travel. I've completely muffed this up. It's been the weirdest show. I've muffed up the travel and everything now. Oh, dearie me. Let me just put that there. I tell you what, while I'm sorting this out, have a listen to this.
Darlaston,
Edgbaston,
Erdington,
Paisley, Gornal Wood. Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM
95.6.
There we go. We got there in the end. Hey, here's something. You know Katie Price, Jordan, here's a story that was in yesterday's show. She's selling her boobs. All 12 of her boobs. She's selling them. Imagine that Christmas morning and your wife is expecting, like a diamond ring, a necklace, nice holiday, opens his box. Oh, what's in the box? What are these? Jordan's boobs. What? Yeah, I bought you Jordan's boobs. What? Thought you could have them. In ya. 03453 000956. Well, that woman, Josie Cunningham, who's she? She's the woman who had the boob job on the NHS and got everyone upset. She's the woman that was selling tickets to the birth of her child and everyone got upset. She's the woman that's selling her breast milk online and everyone got upset. She's now wants to... boob op scrounger. That's a great way to start a story, isn't it? Well done, the Sun. Boob op scrounger Josie Cunningham is eyeing Katie Price's implants and is even willing to pay for them. Model Katie wants to help breast cancer charities by selling her old assets. Josie, who got a £4,800 boob job on the NHS, tweeted, "OMG, I'm defo going to be bidding on Miss Katie Price boobs. It's only... I've got the most famous boobs in the country. It's only fair I have the second as well." Why would anybody want to buy Katie Price's boobs? Really? So many jokes I can make here that I won't. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. Should you want to give us a call about that, you're more than welcome to come on. More than welcome to come on and talk about anything. It's been, I would suggest, perhaps the most random show ever. It's been the most random show ever. Oh, look, I just seen who we're talking to. It's Nick Margison. Good morning, Nick.
How's it going, Ian? You all right?
It's all right. I didn't realise it was you that was coming on.
Yes.
How are you doing, fella? You all right?
All right, yeah. I don't know that we've ever spoken to each other, but yeah.
No, you got upset because I blocked you on Twitter.
Oh, OK, cool.
Yeah, there we go.
What did you block me for? I don't even remember.
No, I can't remember. You were annoying me for some reason, but I block everybody, so it's I'm not one of those people that... I just kind of block everybody. I can't be bothered with Twitter these days.
Oh,
but I
quite like it.
Twitter does my head in. There's so many plums on there, and I think you said something that got me in a bad mood, so I blocked you. Don't take it personally. Okay. It's only Twitter. It's not. I wouldn't block you in the street, and I'm not blocking you now. I'm embracing you, brother. I'm embracing you. We're talking about conspiracy theories. You host the podcast, The Cult of Nick, which is excellent. Well, yes. Do you believe conspiracy theories, or do you just enjoy the ridiculousness of them?
Oh, I think they're very interesting, aren't they? The best way of thinking about them, although the term conspiracy theory is pretty healthy, is to think of them as a counter-narrative. That's what they really are.
Yeah.
But the reason that I enjoy the term conspiracy theory is because that, as a term of abuse, has its origins with the JFK conspiracy theory, which initially was presented to us as the activities of a lone nut, one person on his own, killing the president, and then... even as that was being used as a term of abuse, we all became aware of the fact that there must have been other people involved because, of course, the person who did the killing, as we're told, Oswald, was shot by another person who ran up to him and shot him in order to stop him talking, which kind of implies that it wasn't the activity of a lone nut, but must have been the activity of a conspiracy.
Or Jack Ruby, the fella that shot him, was just really angry that he'd blown the head off a president who was known for taking drugs and, having his hands in the mafia pie.
Well, yeah, maybe he was a concerned patriot, but he did say that he was prepared to give the truth about it if he was moved from prison to prison, and he seemed to be a conspiracy theorist as well. So, yeah, possibly, perhaps he was just, a concerned patriot who didn't want Jackie to testify.
I tend to believe the narrative that we're given by the government. I kind of think that maybe Lee Harvey Oswald did shoot JFK, and that Princess Diana died because she didn't wear a seatbelt and she was being driven too fast by a drunk Frenchman. Am I naive, Nick?
Well, I don't know, man. If you trust your government, that's good, and that's handy for your job, obviously, because you work at the BBC, and the intent of the BBC is to put forward the consensus narrative. So
you're good. Now there's a conspiracy about the BBC.
Well, not really a conspiracy, is it? I mean, what your job is to present the consensus narrative, and that's why everyone listening to you has to pay for you with a £145, I think it is, poll tax that's there in order to enforce that consensus narrative, and they get jailed if they don't pay that money.
Right,
so
rightfully so.
That's your purpose, that's what you're for, to put forward the kind of consensus narrative. But what's happening at the moment is something very interesting, where the internet is causing the establishment to lose its grip on consensus reality. And that's why now conspiracy theories, or like I say, counter-narratives, are taking on a little bit more strength, and people are starting to consider them and starting to wonder whether or not it's a good idea to trust our government, which does seem to lie quite frequently.
But the internet, though, isn't that just because 30 years ago it would have been nut jobs in their bedrooms wearing tinfoil hats and occasionally meeting up in pubs. Now the internet means that any old fruitcake can put any old load of rubbish out there and say, this is the truth. This is the truth. George Bush ordered those men to fly those planes into those buildings.
But look at what you're doing there. The interesting thing about that, of course, is that we live in a country where, like I say, you're working for an organisation that does exactly what you're talking about, that says this is the truth and presents this particular point of view. Now, like you say, in the past there was this assumption that the only people that questioned the consensus narrative were, idiots with tinfoil hats on. Whereas the truth of the matter, I suspect, is that questioning our government has been a long-held pastime in this country, and that people have probably been doing it for thousands of years. It's just that we've fallen into this hypnosis recently in the last maybe, 100 years, less than that, where we've had the broadcast media putting out a version of consensus reality which some people have taken very seriously and other people have kind of ignored.
I feel bad that I'm part of the machine. I'm the man, aren't I? I'm the man.
Well, at the moment you are, but I guess you're on a contract, so you never know. You might come over to our side in the end. But the situation runs that, like I say, at the moment you're funded by an organisation that can't have you question the consensus narrative. And that's the interesting thing about what's happened recently with Russell Brand. He's appeared on telly, he's been interviewed by the BBC, and as part of a much wider conversation, he admitted that he was open-minded. And when he admitted that he was open-minded, that sort of produced headlines about the 9/11 attacks. Whereas I think being open-minded is probably quite a good thing. It's caused a load of headlines and discussions about it and kicked off conversations about conspiracy theories in the kind of mainstream media. But I suspect most people who heard him saying that he was open-minded about the 9/11 attacks kind of shrugged their shoulders and thought, yeah, me too.
I feel that... it's an interesting one. There are some conspiracy theories that I'm open-minded to. So I'm not completely closed-minded. Saying that, the one that I'm really open-minded about, I probably can't mention on the radio. I'll send you a private message and let you know my thoughts. Are there? So you could be right. Are there any that you think are really obviously the alternative timeline, the alternative narrative is obviously the truth, and that we are suckers for not all seeing it?
Oh, no, man, that's where I think people go wrong.
Right.
This is the important thing about it. For me, I advocate something called maybe logic.
Yeah.
And that's pushed by a guy, or was pushed by a guy called Robert Anton Wilson. And he believed that you shouldn't be absolutely certain of anything ever. So you should always accept the fact that you could be wrong. That's the difficulty of your position. So, like I say, your job depends upon advocating certain points of view. And if you were to change your mind on these certain points of view, say, for example, you decided that you were open-minded about Diana dying, and you started talking about this film that's been made, which is banned in the UK, which puts that case forward. You would then have a kind of a question mark over your record and potentiality as a broadcaster for the BBC, and it would question how you earn money.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about that is that again represents the fact that you work for an organisation that is there to maintain the consensus reality. However, I think the best, most logical position to adopt is one of agnosticism, where you sort of go, well, I'm not sure, maybe that's true, maybe it's not. Global warming, another good example. They issued a diktat at the BBC where they said that the debate was over and that there was no way you could question the official narrative on global warming, which meant that people had to occupy a position of certainty on something that we're not qualified to judge. So, your background, you're kind of a light entertainer from television. You don't know anything really about the environment, how it works.
I don't have a clue, no.
No, and how it functions. And so the absurdity of our position, and I've worked in your position as well, I've done work for the BBC in the past, and I've worked on, different radio stations in the past. The absurdity of our position is that we have to present to the audience, which are listening to us now talking, a version of the truth. Yeah, a version of the truth, which we know absolutely nothing about. And then we're confronted by quote-unquote experts who will tell us how to think and what the truth is. And we have to, at points, you more so than I ever have done, you have to say, oh, well, that's great, and that's how it is, and occupy a position of certainty. Whereas, philosophically, you can't really be certain of anything.
Nick, listen, I've got to go because I've got the travel.
Hey, no worries.
No, listen, it's nice to talk to you.
Unblock me on Twitter. I didn't even realise I was blocked. I couldn't even remember.
I've just done it. You did, because I saw you say, why has he blocked me? I've just unblocked you, but if you annoy me, I'll block you again. If people want to... the cultofnick.co.uk, that's the website, isn't it?
That's the badger. Thanks, man. See you later.
Nick, nice to talk to you. Nick Mark Garrison. He called me a light entertainer. I'm not quite sure how to take that. I think that's a good thing. I'm questioning my whole purpose in life now. I'm working for the man. I'm doing what the government are telling me to do. I'm a puppet. Let's get the travel news. Here's Matt Freeman.
Thank you, Ian. We'll start in Erdington. Chester Road, the A452, still closed around Court Lane both ways after an accident earlier on this morning. It's not far from the traffic lights at the Garden Room coffee shop and still causing queues both ways. Looking better on the M6 now, though. Northbound, there was an accident between Junction 8 for the M5 and Junction 9 for Wednesbury. That's now been cleared, so traffic is getting back to normal, but still a little busy heading along the northbound M5 towards that. From Junction 2, really, for Albury towards Junction 8 to the M6 link. Northbound M6 further up better now, where there were some roadworks taking place on the entry slip road at Junction 12 for Gailey. They have now finished for the day, so that is back open. Problems around Junction 6 of the M42 on the roundabout there for the A45 with the entry and exit slip roads to the A45 closed. You can still use the M42 heading north to get off onto the westbound A45 towards the airport though, and the southbound M42 towards the eastbound A45. And if you are a Wolves fan heading towards Ellen Road for this afternoon, generally looking okay on the M6, just a little heavy heading past Stoke, and things then looking better further up the M6 and onto the M62. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 0845 3002288.
I've completely messed up the computer today. You're supposed to hear this.
Ian Lee.
On BBC WM
95.6. The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
I'm so sorry. I've got no idea what's going on today. The weirdest show. Have you seen the front page of The Sun? This is a made-up story, isn't it? Here comes a coffee and a sandwich. That's what we need. Thank you, Bernie. Thank you, Bernie Marlow. Very kind of you. Careful, that lid's not on. It's going to go everywhere. Thank you very much indeed. You're very kind. Oh, it's even changed as well. The front page of The Sun, it really is the most made-up story of all time. Docs treat mum's phobia. Vomiting, fainting, screaming, sweating, on Prozac. I'm allergic to cow. For goodness. Is the X Factor on at the moment? It is, isn't it? Oh, right. Is it not doing very well in the ratings? Oh, right. There you go. Exclusive. A mum told last night how her life is being made a misery by her phobia of Simon Cowell. Michelle Hall, 43, screams, vomits and suffers cold sweats and heart palpitations whenever she sees telly's X Factor guru. Here's an idea, Michelle. Don't watch the X Factor. Don't watch it. You don't need to watch it. Doctors put her on antidepressant Prozac for her bizarre condition. Michelle said, "It's difficult. There's no escaping him." Full story, page 4 and 5. Oh, for crying out loud. There's a picture of her family watching the X Factor. I don't like TVs that are attached to walls. I'll tell you why. Because you can't move it. Supposing you want to move, supposing the sun's shining on it, or you want to move it a bit, or you're sat in another seat, you've got to look at it there. And it's above the fireplace. The fireplace should be the centre of the living room. Anyway, so her family are watching it. She's sat on the sofa, but turning away. A despairing mum has told how the mere sight of X Factor judge Simon Cowell makes her vomit. Michelle Hall, 43, screams and suffers panic attacks whenever she glimpses Cowell's face on TV or in newspapers and magazines. Here's a quote from her. Get this, Chris. This is the most insane quote, OK?
Yep.
When he walked out with those trousers pulled up to his chest, grinning demonically, I ran out to be sick. What a ridiculous woman. Can you believe this?
Totally. I mean, I hope she gets enough compensation from the Sun to compensate for her ridicule she's going to get.
Well,
you wouldn't do it, would you?
Well,
you wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it. And she's got kids. She's got 2 kids.
Well, the kids are going to suffer even more because they're going to be bullied at school, whatever.
Hopefully. No, not hopefully. I'd hope not. Then it's got some fearsome facts, OK? Bob... How is this even possible? Billy Bob Thornton, the actor, what's he been in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
He's got a fear of antique furniture. Antique furniture.
That's why he's not been in anything for the last 10 years or so.
That would explain it, wouldn't it? Chris, what have you got for us?
Well, basically, there's a couple of points. One, Lord Tebbit. Well, I didn't hear the interview, but my point is, if you're unemployed and you're not working, the quick point is, whatever work benefits you get, like cash-wise, you should get that, divided up by the minimum hourly wage or whatever it is, and then you should do them hours worked for your community.
Why?
Simple on that. What have you? I don't know how you feel about that, but I think it's
why do you think that the unemployed people should do work?
My brother-in-law, as far as I'm concerned, I think he's lazy. He's not been in a job for like nearly 4 years. He's getting his benefits and what have you. And I think he's got into a routine where he constantly gets his benefits. My sister's going out to work as a nurse, and she's trying to get him to do a job. And he's not even bothering. And I think he's just got into the routine of not doing anything. No one's going to give him a job.
Does he not go out looking for work?
He says he does, but all he does is sits on the internet all day and watching telly all day.
Well, hang on. Maybe he's looking for work on internet.
I don't think so. I think he's on Facebook and whatever all day. But he just doesn't do anything. And I think he's just got himself into the routine. Fair enough, I'll take my money from the government and off we go. Thank you very much. He's applying for ridiculous jobs that is like high management jobs that he's not going to get because he's going to give somebody unemployed for 4 years a high management job.
Well, what was he doing before he became unemployed?
He was like a stores person for Glenmorangie.
Oh, okay. Okay. And have you told him he's lazy?
Not directly, no, but my mother has.
Oh blimey. Mum got involved, did she?
My mother with him is a typical mother-in-law from hell, believe me. She's certainly lazy.
What does your sister say then? His wife? Does she get annoyed with it?
Yes, she does get annoyed with it. She gets very frustrated, but what can she do? She can only go so far. They live together, they've got a child together, and it does frustrate her. I mean, he doesn't do much in the house, which I find a bit ridiculous. My sister will come home from doing a 13-hour shift in the hospital and then come home and have to cook the tea for him and the little boy, 10-year-old boy. And you're like, well, I would have a word with that if I was you, Rebecca.
You should have a word with that. Rebecca, have a word with that. What else you got for us, Chris?
On about the conspiracy theory, 9/11. My wife's cousin, her husband is Lebanese, obviously Muslim, And they are convinced, I've spoken to them quite a lot of times, they are absolutely convinced that 9/11, where they come from in the world, that 9/11 was a setup by George Bush and his cohorts, whatever you want to call them. But don't personally take either of you. I do listen to him, and I think he's got a very interesting point. That 9/11 came about because George Bush and whatever you wanted to go into Iraq and whatever you to get the oil. Because at the end of the day, as you pointed out, what the hell has Iraq got to do with 9/11? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. And America wants oil as a way of going into it. They said it was set up by the Jewish masters, who were very rich people over there. And because obviously Israel's always at war with whoever, the Palestinians, the Arabs and what have you, that's never going to be settled. And they're convinced Israel is only there while America supports it. The minute America steps away from it, Israel will cease to exist.
So that could be considered a conspiracy theory, Chris.
Yeah. But they think, I mean, he showed me YouTube videos where it doesn't look like a plane going in. I'm thought, well, I've seen enough to show that it is a plane there are two planes going in.
Yeah.
What have you. But why, as you said yourself, why attack Iraq and Afghanistan? Yes, we weren't running off hard in there, but Saudi Arabia.
Chris, listen, thank you very much indeed. 03453 009956 is the phone number. Bernie's put on my coat. Bernie is, I think, is it 4'6"? Is that right? And she's put on my coat. I'm a 6'3" gentleman, and oh look, she looks tiny. She's so sweet, isn't she? What have we got? 03453 009956 if you want to give us a call. We'll have when my team stop messing around, we'll have a little clip of what Norman Tebbit said earlier on. I only asked for that clip at 8:30 this morning. And what's it now, 11:30? So, yeah, fair play. It's taken a while. We'll get there. They're still pushing, in the Daily Mirror, they're still pushing this new Dad's Army film. Why? Why are they pushing the Dad's Army film? Who's interested? Is anybody actually going to pay $1 to go to the cinema to watch a Dad's Army film? It was rubbish when it was on telly, and it'll be rubbish in the cinema. It's got Toby. It's got good people in it. Bill Nighy, Toby Jones, Michael Gambon, Tom Courtenay, Blake Harrison from The Inbetweeners. I've got no idea who Daniel Mays is. But who's actually going to want to go and see that, for goodness sakes? 03453 009955. I've said this before. The Dad's Army is one of the worst programmes of all time. It's up there with Fools and Horses. And I'm going to say, 40 Towers is rubbish. Here's the thing, right? I'm reading... Alan, get this right. I'm reading John Cleese's autobiography.
Yeah?
Right? It's the dullest book I have ever read in my... It's impenetrable. I'm glad I only paid half price for it.
Oh, my God. I could think of far better autobiographies.
Go on, then.
I was thinking Kevin Peterson.
Who?
Kevin Peterson, the England cricketer.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Cricket, the dullest game in the world?
It's better than golf.
Do you know what? I don't know if cricket is better than golf.
Well, let's try it out to the listeners.
That's a good idea, Alan. Let's put that out to the listeners. But still, I mean, golf is dull, right? But at least you get to see some nice scenery. Cricket, it's rubbish. Any game.
2020 match at Edgbaston.
Oh, for goodness, you've wasted your money, mate. Any game that can last several days and they break for tea? Ridiculous. It's so dull. It's so pointless. The only fun bit about playing cricket is when you're in bat, and that doesn't last more than 5 minutes, and then the rest of it is Dullsville, USA.
Oh, dear. Maybe they need to line it up with pumpkins.
Sorry?
Because I've heard the call you made to Molly.
I phoned up Molly this morning to talk about my pumpkin girlfriend, yeah.
Comedy genius.
I am, aren't I?
That's right, you're the best comedian on WM.
Well, yeah. I'm not a comedian, mate. I'm a presenter.
But you're still one of the best.
Yeah, exactly. The other, okay, hang on. You say I'm one of the best. Who's number one on WM, Alan?
It has to be Francie.
All right, so Frankie's your number one, who's of course...
with the football phone in.
Yeah, right. So what's number two?
You.
I'm number two after Francie. I'll have that. But Daz Hale's going to be on at midday with early kickoff.
He's number 3.
He's number 3. Danny Kelly does the mid-mornings in the week. Where would you put him?
4.
You're literally just putting them... The people I say, you're putting them in the order... You put them in the next in position, aren't you?
Yeah, 4.
Where's Molly Green, who's on before me on a Saturday?
7.
Oh, 7? Who's 5 and 6?
Well, 5 would be Richard Wilford and the team from Hunted.
Oh, yeah, you like that, yeah? All right.
Yeah, because I like cracking the clues.
You like quacking the clues, yeah?
And 6 would be Pete Morgan.
Yay! Well, that's good. We've got the top 7 of the presenters.
I know. Not bad for a hamburger.
Sorry?
Not bad for a hamburger.
What the hell are you talking about, you fruitcake?
You always call me hamburger.
I've never called you hamburger in your life.
You did.
No, I didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
Friday says, hello, hamburger.
No, I've never called you hamburger in your life, you plum.
Oh, so I'm a plum now, aren't I?
Yeah, you're a plum.
I thought I was a strawberry.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.
03453 009956. Listen, let's just play a clip of this again. Yesterday I got to speak to Norman Tebbit. I was quite nervous about speaking to him, but he was good fun. I was speaking to Norman Tebbit, who has put forward the idea that unemployed people should do weeding to get their benefits. Have a listen to this.
If you don't do your job, your employer doesn't pay you. That's not demeaning. It's not forced labour. It's not the Victorian workhouse. It's the bargain between those that pay and those that do something in return for the pay.
Your thoughts, please. Is it out of order to say that? He is suggesting that unemployed people, to get their benefits, go and do some weeding. I should have asked him how many hours a week he expected them to do. Weeding at the side of the roads, on roundabouts, near motorways, that kind of stuff. OK, just to make their communities a little bit better. And there's certainly something in doing work, volunteering for your community to make it better. Of course there is. But volunteering to get your benefits? And if you don't volunteer, well, you don't get your benefits. Does that make sense? 03453 009956. Keith's in Bartley Green. Good morning, Keith.
Hello, young man. Actually, just a quick comment. It isn't what I found out. There are some people who do not want to work. They've got the mindset they're quite happy to do a bit on the side or just don't want to work anyway, full stop.
Yeah, but
going to change those.
Well, listen... I don't think there's that many people. We hear about it.
No, there's not that many people. There are some.
The story, the newspapers like the Mail and the Sun, they kind of would have you believe that there are scroungers with 26 kids all over the place.
No.
There's not that many.
No. I mean, come on, let's be honest about it. The same about Benefit Street, they blew it up. No, I used to live in Winston Green.
Yeah.
I was born in Winston Green. And I don't believe, do not believe that I think a lot of it was just highlighted. I mean, obviously, for the show. I think they just pick on the extreme.
Of course they do, because extreme sell newspapers. But then the public think that the extreme is the norm. They think that that's the common thing, not the exception, and that's the danger, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the point at the end of the day, if you believe everything that you read in the newspaper, well,
well, exactly.
Just sell them. Listen, presenters on the station.
Oh yeah, go on.
Danny Kelly, obviously, he's the top presenter. He's on every day.
Right. So he's number one.
Yeah. Yourself as number two.
Hey.
You only do two sessions.
Yeah, this is the thing. Everyone says, "Oh, you should do more shows a week." No, if I did more shows a week here, you'd realise.
Yeah, you do well. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. People would realise actually this act is paper thin, and if you stretch it any further, holes would start appearing everywhere. Two shows a week is enough.
I've got to say, to be honest with you, John Gaunt used to do a show on a Saturday morning.
I've heard that name before.
If John had done more shows, it wouldn't have had the impact. I think you are right there. Yeah. Your show is a different show.
I'm better than John Gaunt. Yeah, you're right.
Well, it's good. Yeah, okay.
Better.
Now, I like Caroline Martin because she's a different kind of show altogether.
Well, it's a woman show. She's a woman,
That's
isn't she?
right.
She's a woman. She's good, Caroline. I like her.
Frank C is a good lad.
Yeah.
Because he does the sport. I have to be honest with you. Now, this is personal.
Oh, here we
preference.
go. Oh, don't slag off any of my colleagues.
No, I do not like.
Oh no.
I'm not that keen. No.
No.
I'm not that keen on Sonny and Shay, but They do the kind of show that does entertain people.
Well,
it's not my cup of tea.
No, but it does. A lot of people like it.
Of course, yeah.
Of course. All right. But, listen, while I'm happy for you to come on, everyone to come on and give me the order of preference, I feel slightly uncomfortable people coming and knocking other presenters that aren't here. Come on and knock me, guys. Yeah, you can knock me as much as you want. I'm here and I can take it. And you've probably got a good point, but I feel slightly uncomfortable knocking other presenters that aren't here. Mohammed's in Edgbaston. Good morning, Mohammed.
Yeah, it's nearly afternoon now, isn't it?
Well, it's nearly afternoon, but it's not afternoon, it's still morning, hence the phrase, good morning, Mohammed.
Good morning.
Good morning. What are you doing for the rest of the day, Mohammed? Having a goat curry and then going up for a prayer?
Well, I was thinking of going out and having a laugh.
A laugh?
Yeah.
You don't sound in the mood for a laugh.
I am. I ain't been down the blues for ages.
Oh, I see. There we go. He's made a football joke.
Well, that would be a laugh, wouldn't it?
Well done. When people...
I know, you don't like football.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. I wish I did, but I don't get it.
No, it's because you can't play it, that's why.
Well, do you know what? I never liked playing, and I think you may have a point. I was always discouraged from playing it at school.
Yeah.
I was a sprinter at school.
You should have played rounders or something, or maybe hockey with the girls.
Oh, no, I played hockey with the boys. Hockey is a flipping violent game. Really it's a really nasty game. You get hit by that ball.
Hit the ball, but you're supposed to hit the ball, not the person with the stick.
Exactly. You get hit in the shins by one of those hockey sticks. You know you've been tackled.
Yeah,
it's a good game, hockey.
There's a game which is good like that as well.
Yeah, it's a good game, that.
Curling.
Anyway, go on, what you got?
Yeah, you're going on about all these presenters, but that man before me just mentioned it anyway. Caroline, why are you missing out Caroline? And don't be so sexy saying, it's a woman's show.
No, I did. If I said that was incorrect. What I meant was, he said it's different. I said, yeah, it's presented by a woman. Caroline...
No, you said it's a woman's show.
No, I did say it's a woman's show, then I corrected myself immediately, Mohammed.
Oh, OK, then
because I don't mean it's a show for women. I mean it's a show presented by a woman.
Molly Green. I like Molly Green.
I think Caroline...
By the way, talking about Molly Green...
Hello?
Talking about Molly Green...
OK, yes. I think...
Go on, then.
I think I have the joy of having to go into Caroline's show every Friday. I think she's brilliant. And I know that her young boy likes listening to this rubbish. And I have the joy of working with Molly. I think they are both excellent presenters. And I reckon Molly should be on a lot more.
Yeah.
I think she's been on a lot more.
I used to phone her up years ago when Jane France used to work with her.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard from Jane for ages. She's still working there.
I've got no idea.
You don't know? She plays football.
It's her birthday today, apparently.
Who, Jane?
Yeah, but we're in danger. We're in danger of disappearing up a country track that no one's got any interest in at all.
I like Danny Kelly.
Yeah, he's good. I
like Danny Kelly. Kelly's all right.
Yeah.
He supports the wrong football team, though.
He's a big lad.
I know he's a big lad.
Right, OK, Mohammed, thank you. We're in danger of disappearing up our own backsides here. So let's be careful. Liam's in Oldbury. Morning, Liam.
Morning.
What you got for us?
Just about the weeding issue.
Oh, yeah. Norman Tebbit said that the unemployed people should go and do weeding for their benefits.
Yeah, well, multiple times today I've heard you saying that if you don't volunteer to weed, then your benefits are stopped. Now, personally, I don't believe that to be volunteering.
No.
If it's being forced upon you, that's not volunteering.
Yeah, correct.
So if the jobs are out there, and I'm going down the motorway at the moment, and yes, the roads are a state, but there are other people out there as well that could contribute to it. Prisoners.
I think prisoners do it, don't they?
Well, obviously, there's not enough doing it because it doesn't make any difference to what we see on the roads.
Well, it does make difference because it's not all overgrown jungle, is it?
Not all of it. Parts of it still are. What? And it's not just the overgrown jungle. It's the amount of rubbish that we're seeing on the side of the roads.
Well, hang on. The argument there should be the social responsibility. We shouldn't be chucking rubbish out of our cars. And also, I drive down the M6, the M40, the M1, the M42. They're not that bad. Some of those stretches of motorway are fine.
I'm a lorry driver and I see the state of the motorways.
Well, as I've just said, I'm a driver and I see the state of the motorways. And I don't think they're that bad.
Well, obviously, you're not seeing all of the nasty parts.
Well, no, I've not. But as I've just said, Liam, I drive a lot on motorways. I drive all the way up not all the way. I drive up the M1, the M6, the M42. I do the M4. I do the M40. They're all right. Never do I drive along going, oh, flipping heck, this motorway is disgusting. We need more prisoners and unemployed people to tidy this up.
There shouldn't be any mess on the side of the roads at all. As you say, it is social responsibility, but unfortunately, that isn't the world we live in.
So should the unemployed people be going and doing the weeding?
Well, yes, they should be doing something, but as somebody who's just come off long-term unemployment, not through not wanting to work, but through personal circumstances, I was forced by the job centre to go and work in a charity shop, which is something that I don't want to do. I'm not interested in retail. I actually got given an opportunity to go and work with Westfield Sports Cars on the same amount of time volunteering, doing something that I've done before, I trained in college for, and it took me 2 weeks of fighting with the job centre to allow me to do that over going to a charity shop, which is not...
But working in the charity shop, it's not about retail, is it? It's about giving something back to the community.
But it's not. It's free labour.
Yeah, for a charity shop, it's not. It would be slightly different. It would be slightly different if it was Sainsbury's or Tesco you were doing it for. For a charity shop, it's charity.
But the difference is, I was one of the lucky ones to be asked to go to a charity shop. There are people out there that have been forced to go to places like Tesco's, to Poundworld, and work. There was at the Olympic Games, there were buses of job seekers that were driven down to London to go and marshal the 2012 Olympics, and were left with no accommodation and no money, and a lot of them were sleeping under Tower Bridge.
Well, there wasn't a lot of them sleeping under Tower Bridge. As far as I remember, it was one coach load that got where the guys had muffed up. So it was a coach load of people where for one night they were left stranded, but that was sorted out pretty quickly. Liam, listen, thank you for your call. 03453 009956. Rob's in Northfield. Good morning, Rob.
Hello, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
I don't know. I'll just switch the radio on. I heard you talking about weeding and people doing it who's on the dole.
Lord Norman Tebbit said to me yesterday and on the show this morning that the unemployed people should do weeding to get their benefits.
OK, I think personally to volunteer and do something like that would be a good thing, because it's breaking the habit of getting up at 10 o'clock in the morning and staying up late at night, whereas if they've got something to go to, it's getting them back into that routine.
Hang on a minute. How many unemployed people, and where is your evidence, your EV, that they are staying up late and getting up late? Where's your EV to support that? And even if they were, what's wrong with that?
Well, it's getting you into the routine and ready for work, isn't it? I don't know a job that starts at midday. Most of the jobs that I've been in started at 7:30 in the morning or 8 o'clock.
But if you haven't got a job, why should you have to get up at 7:30 in the morning?
No, if you listen to what I've just said,
yes, Rob.
I've said it gets you into the routine of getting up early and getting to work.
Hang on a second. If I haven't got a job, why would I want to get up at 7:30 in the morning? I don't understand that. I'll get up about 10:30.
Well, you just said you don't know. You just said you don't know unemployed people that are getting up at 10:30. You just said that you'd stay in bed till 10:30.
I would stay in bed, but what's the problem with that?
Well, the problem is you get into a routine, don't you?
No.
When you're ready for employment, you've got to break that routine.
Then exactly. And then when I get a job, I will get up at the time that I need to get up for the job.
Okay.
But if I'm unemployed, then why should I be going to bed at 9:30 at night and getting up at 7:30 in the morning? That's crazy.
Well, it's what they call getting job ready, mate. It's what they call getting job ready. There are people...
What do you mean getting job... It's not getting job ready. But when I get a job, because my hours might be starting work at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and finishing at 2 in the morning. So me getting up at 7:30 is not making me job ready.
No, OK, then what time would you go to bed then if you finish at 2 o'clock?
In the morning?
Yeah.
Why are we having a really weird... I don't know, if I finished at 2 o'clock, I'd probably... What, in the morning? I don't know. It depends how far away I live from the job. It depends if I was hungry. I don't know. Let's say 4 o'clock in the morning.
And what time would you get up?
Oh, I don't know, Rob. It's a fictional account.
Well, there you go. You're getting up, ready for the job, aren't you?
But why would I... If I'm unemployed, why should I have to go to bed and get up the same time as you do, Rob?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you're getting yourself into a routine, job ready.
But you don't know what the job's gonna be. My job now, my weekday job, right? I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, OK? Now, for the 8 months before that, roughly, when I was unemployed, should I have been getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning just in case I got a job that involved me getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning? No, of course not. I went to bed when I wanted to, and I got up when I wanted to.
Oh, well, you probably the exception to the rule then, aren't you?
Thank you very much indeed. 03453 009956. I'm not quite sure, A, what we were talking about, B, why he was getting defensive, and C, why I was getting angry. But all of those things actually happened. They all happened in that telephone call. I don't have a problem. Listen, if you're unemployed, go to bed when you want, get up when you want. As long as when you're up, you're looking for work and you're writing letters and you're going online and you're talking to... As long as you're looking for work, what's the problem? I think there's a little bit of jealousy there. There's a little bit of jealousy. And this talk about, well, they're getting the benefits for nothing. Well, they're not, are they? Because when they do get work, they will be paying back into the system. And if they have worked, they've paid into the system. And they're getting what theirs. Yes, there will always be a minority of people that are playing the system. There'll be chancers that don't want to work. And they'll be doing everything they can to get everything they can for free. But that's such a tiny minority of people, isn't it? 03453 009956. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Matt Freeman.
Problems continuing through Erdington on Chester Road, the A452, which is still closed both ways around Court Lane after an accident quite a long time ago now this morning. Traffic backing up towards the Jockey Road turn and the B4149, away from the accident which was near the Garden Room Coffee and Gift Shop and the traffic lights. Elsewhere, little busy through Hales Owen on Manor Way towards the Hagley Road roundabout, and Bristol Road, the A38 through Selly Oak, is slow towards the Priory Crossroads. There was an accident earlier on the M6 between Junction 8 for the M5 and Junction 9 at Wensbury. That's long since cleared, but still busy on the northbound M5 where queues started to build as a result from Junction 2 for Oldbury towards the M6 link at Junction 8. And problems as well around Junction 6 of the M42 with the roadworks there where you meet the A45. The M42 through there and the A45 still open, but slip roads to the A45 are closed, although you can use the roundabout to go from the northbound M42 onto the westbound A45 and from the southbound M42 onto the eastbound A45. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country. BBC WM
95.6.
And the last 15 minutes of the show, dear listener, over to you. 03453 009956. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this nonsense, producer Joe and I are also here Friday afternoons 2 till 4, where it's even more nonsensical. Chris is in Perry Bar. Good afternoon to you, Chris. Morning
Hello.
to you. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What you got, boss?
Well, just two things. One thing, apparently there was something said about Fawlty Towers, which I thoroughly disagree with, because Fawlty Towers is one of the best programmes ever done.
No, it's rubbish.
And John Cleese is an absolute genius.
First of all, Fawlty Towers is rubbish. Secondly, his book is the dullest book I've ever read in my life. And I read Swallows and Amazons.
Well, then don't read it.
Well, I've paid £10 for it.
Well, then take it back.
I can't. Well, you can't take it back because I got it a bit dirty. And also, once I start a book, Chris, there are very few books or films that I have not finished. I feel like I've failed if I don't finish a book.
That's actually quite admirable.
Well, it's admirable or sad. It's one of the two. I'm not sure which. But if I've started a book, I've got to see it through to the end.
Right, well, that's good.
And this is like walking through treacle reading the John Cleese autobiography. Flipping it. It's so boring. Anyway, go on.
And the other thing was, it's all well and good about getting people who haven't got work, who are getting paid the benefits, to go and do weeding. But I thought that was mainly what they get for the young offenders to do nowadays, isn't it?
The community service, isn't it?
Yeah. So how could if they started getting the people without work to do it as well, there'd be nothing for them to do.
Well, no, there's always a road that needs cleaning. There's always a verge that needs weeding. There's always something that needs to be done.
Yes, but the chances of actually getting most people up to go out and do it is very slim as well.
Why? If they're told they have to do it or they lose their benefits, then they'll do it. You're breathing very weird. Are you jogging on the spot?
No, I was.
Don't tell me.
No, I'm just knackered.
Why?
Because I've just been messing about sorting some out in my bedroom.
You've just been what?
Just been sorting some out in my room.
I'm terrified to ask. I'm going to ask.
You're having a massage.
Right, steady on. Oh, for goodness sake. What have you been sorting out in your bedroom, or do I not want to know?
No, I've just been sorting out my bed, making my bed.
I'm making your bed?
Having a massage.
Shut up, Terry.
Say shut up.
And making a bed has got you this much out of breath?
Yes.
Flipping it, Chris. And you're having a cheeky fag as well, I can hear.
Yes, I am.
Unbelievable. Having a fag on the phone. Yeah, I'm being reminded by producer Joe that I do get out of breath walking up the stairs. I'm a very unhealthy man. Chris, thank you very much indeed. Jean's in Harborne. Good morning, Jean.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Jean. What can we do for you?
I'm just saying hello to you from last week.
Yes.
It was really good.
Have you managed to, for those who don't remember, Jean has got the hots for the Cray twins.
Oh, that's right.
Have you? Did you have any dreams about the Cray twins?
No.
Romantic dreams? No.
No, but I have had a gentleman caller.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who was calling, and what was this gentleman? Do I know him? I should have vetted him. What's going on, Jean?
No, he was testing my fire alarm.
No, that's what he said. Was it a fireman coming round?
No, it was just somebody from the concern where I'm living.
Okay, so did he come and push your button?
Oh, no, not really.
Oh, I love you, Jean.
He asked me how I was.
Yeah.
Bab.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. That's no respect.
Not really.
No respect. What have you got planned for the rest of the day, Jean?
Bit of shopping.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering which leather skirt to wear before I have my cup of OXO.
Flippin' heck. OXO's never sounded so sexy. That OXO, the cup of OXO I had last week.
Oh, yes, you had problems, yes?
I felt so ill on the way home. Honestly, I felt awful on the way. I was sweating. My stomach was... I felt terrible.
Sorry.
And I blame you for it, Jean.
Why?
Because you were one of the ones that encouraged me to have it, weren't you?
Did I?
Probably.
I can't remember that.
Good mind to come round and sort you out.
Oh, dear.
In terms of tell you off.
Oh,
Yes.
more than welcome. Honestly.
Jean, nice to talk to you.
Okay.
See you later. Ta-ta. For those wondering, she's 90, so keep your hands off, you mucky pups. Another 90-year-old, Susan in Cornwall. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning, Ian.
And I won't cut you off today.
That's very kind.
We've got
of you.
10 minutes if you... Susan always accuses me of cutting her off, cutting her short. Susan, you've got all the time in the world.
Thank you. You're so kind.
You are literally the last caller we've got. That's why.
Oh, so I'm your fill-in for this week.
You're my
am I?
fill-in, yeah.
Yeah, okay then. I just want to say something about the Norman Tebbit saying about people cutting the grass verges and doing the weeding for the benefits.
Yes.
From what I see a lot going around on the internet, their rules are so strict at now that they have to spend, I think it's 30-odd hours looking for jobs, and they have to show that they've applied for about 90 jobs a week.
No, it's not 90 jobs a week.
Isn't it?
How can it be? How could you apply for 90 jobs in a week? That's insane.
They have to sit on the website.
I think, and someone will correct me in the last 10 minutes of the show, I think it's 15 jobs a week.
Oh, is it?
Here's what I used-
It's a lot, and they have to spend a lot of time looking for
Here's
them.
what I used. I wonder how they prove that, because when I was signing on, you had to show evidence that you'd been applying for jobs, right? And it's what evidence you've applied for a job. What does that mean? So, what I would do is just before going to sign on every other Thursday, I just make up stuff on the form. And I'd say, I applied for this job at such and such a company, and then I applied for... And I'd just make up stuff and go in. And so, whenever I went to sign on in Harlesden in northwest London, it was everyone there was really, really nice. There was one Irish woman who worked there. If you got the Irish woman, you were in big trouble, because she would take you aside and go through everything on the... Everyone else, you'd just go in, you'd be looking for jobs this week. Yeah, they'd sign it, you'd be away. The Irish woman, oh man alive, you were in trouble, Susan. You were in big trouble.
Yeah, but I don't think they're quite lax like that.
And if you went in there, right, so what kind of work are you looking for? Acting work. That's what I used to say, acting work. You would be laughed out of there like, yeah, we haven't got that. We've got a job as a forklift truck driver. Oh, flipping heck.
Yeah. I don't know directly, because, I'm retired now. As you say, I'm 90 years old.
Yes, good for you.
But I think, there's people that ring up and call them all lazy and scroungers. I really, really do get angry about that, because they should stop watching Channel 5 and Channel 4. All it does is it convinces one section of people that the other section is not entitled to a life, and there's a serious side to it, really, Ian. I know we're joking about it, but there is a serious side to it, and I actually feel so terribly sorry for the youngsters today, the way it's just all turned on its head, and I think it's very difficult for people who are on benefits. There's always been the ones that don't want to work. There's always been the ones that will sit with a life on benefits. But the reality of it is, life on benefits, you don't get anything, you don't get anywhere, and to me, that's not a life, and that's not a choice that I would make.
I have to believe, Susan, I have to believe that most people who are signing on want a job, but they want a decent job. They don't want a 0 hours contract where they're not guaranteed they're going to get any money each month. They want to work.
No, because you see, the 0 hour contracts to me is like going back to the old days when the guys used to be standing at the factory gates waiting for the bosses to come out and walk along the line saying you, and you. And
the rest of you can go home.
You know, I mean, how can you plan a life on a 0 hour contract, Iain?
I don't think you can. And this is one of my kind of bugbears because, employment figures, are improving and stuff. Yeah, but how many of those people are on 0 hour contracts? As a dad with a mortgage, I couldn't live like that. I couldn't. I need to know roughly, and it goes up and it goes down, it depends. I need to know roughly, can I meet the mortgage, can I pay all the bills, and can I feed the kids? Now, I'm in quite a privileged position. Generally, I can. But if I didn't know that, I couldn't live like that. I couldn't survive like that.
I couldn't, and I don't think many people can. And I think if you are in a 0 hour contract, I don't think they wouldn't give you a mortgage because you wouldn't be able to produce regular income. So, nobody'd ever get on the housing ladder. In fact, probably if you went to rent a place, you probably wouldn't get a place to rent because all these things take payment of a regular bill, and if you haven't got a regular income, nobody's going to look at you.
Hey, Susan, I said you could have as long as you want. I wouldn't cut you off. I was lying. Let's go to Daz. Hello, Daz.
Afternoon. How you doing, Iain?
Good afternoon, Daz. You're. I don't want to say you're a lazy man.
I'm not a lazy man.
Sorry?
I'm not a lazy man. Far from it.
What do you do?
What do you mean? What do I do?
Well, as far as I can tell, Daz, with the greatest respect, every Saturday you're at a football match.
Yeah.
You talk about football.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there are thousands of blokes that do that and don't get paid the fortune that you get.
I go out weeding as well on the motorways.
Yeah, but
making sure that my bollards are all right.
That's part of your community service,
In fairness, yeah.
In fairness.
But I'm here from midday today, and you're quite right. I'm going to be sitting here talking rubbish about football for the next couple of hours or so. But I want the BBC WM listeners' help as well. Last week, somebody phoned up and says, why don't we talk about the great goalkeepers that we've had in the West Midlands over the years? Because we've been really blessed. So today, who is the best goalkeeper you have ever seen playing for your club? And so it can be as recent or as far back in time as you want. And on Monday night coming up, we've got Villa at QPR live. One man who won't be involved for QPR is Adil Tarat, because Harry Redknapp said he's 3 stone overweight.
Hey.
So today we want
our old
footballers.
Tarat. He's very, very fat. There we go. There's a chance for you guys.
We'll get that one started on Monday night. Fat footballers. That's what we want today. We're going to put together a dream team of salad dodgers.
Flip it. I tell you who I like.
Go on.
Seaman.
David Seaman, and he did play for Birmingham City.
The
ponytail.
Here's one for you if you feel like taking up the slack. Football players with ponytails. You don't get the ponytails anymore.
We'll do that one of the weeks, absolutely, yeah. Great.
Hey, Daz, we're having football banter.
We are, bit of banter, bit of lads. Come on, let's go and have another Oxo or another Bovril.
Oh, that flipping Oxo last week, it sent me doolally. It was horrible.
Come on, it's character building.
Des, speak to you later on. Ta-ta, Des. Who's Des? Who the flipping heck is that? It's been one of those shows today where it's been a little bit random on the veranda. It's been all over the shop. I've got no idea what's been going on. We're coming to the end. We'll gently wind down, shall we? I should go through some more of these headaches of modern life. We never compiled our... So many things. We didn't talk about mouldy food. We didn't talk about bus lanes, plastic surgery, allergies, all these things we had to talk about. Thank you for all your calls. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Let me give you some more of these, the biggest headaches of modern life. Cyclists on the road at number 42. You see, I would say cyclists on the pavement. Cyclists on the road. I was driving the other day, right, and you know the boxes at the front of traffic lights for cyclists? Like the tiniest little bit of my car went into that box for cyclists. There was a cyclist in front of me. He turned, looked at my car in disgust, looked at me and did a, huh. I thought, you cheeky flipping so-and-so. People talking in the cinema. I once, there were some girls in the cinema. I went to see Paranormal Activity. What a terrible waste of time that was. Rubbish film. And there were these girls talking and giggling, right? And after a while, some guy went, excuse me, could you be quiet, please? And they went, yeah, sorry. And then 3 minutes later they were talking and giggling. And I said, excuse me, could you shut the flip up, please? Never heard another word from them. Never heard another word from them. People talking overly loud on public transport. See, I like that. I love having a good earwig on conversations. It's one of my favourite things. Middle lane hoggers, noisy neighbours, and the number one annoyance, your laptop or your computer freezing. Really? I think there's worse things than that in the world. Thank you, Producer Joe. Thank you, Bernie. Excellent stuff today. Go and listen to the call I made to Molly earlier on. You can hear it on the Facebook page or at BBC WM on Twitter. We'll be back next Friday, 2 till 4. Keep tuned, though, because Daz will be up after the news. Till next week from us, ta-ta.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
So it's another huge day ahead for West Midlands football this afternoon. Join us next in early kick-off for all your big match build-up.